Okay, I got something special. You ready?
Yeah.
There's a reason that the camera is off right now.
No. Okay. Yeah, I
Okay,
know. I think I know where this is going.
where's it going?
You're not going to be wearing anything again.
Oh, again, again. Right, because well, the ones you don't record, I'm normally on. Okay, but okay, so
Yeah,
this is gonna.
I can't
Okay,
put those out. We've done like 50 of these episodes,
I
and
know,
and
I
most
know.
of them there's nudity, so I have to cut it out.
Right, yeah, and we haven't cussed, have we? Oh, it doesn't matter. We're not really started. Because okay, ready? Because this is gonna be awesome. I've been practicing, but I don't know if I can get this right. So let's
Okay.
see if we get it. Okay. Um,
From this nightmare, my eyes into life. Wake up from this
What is
nightmare,
that?
my eyes into life.
Oh, that's me. That's me singing. What the hell? What the hell is going on here with these things? Okay, the sound is completely muffled now. So, but I heard it was that song. Holy crap! there's, yeah, there's pictures of us behind. This is the beginning of the episode because why would I not include this is almost 1 hour photo level of creepy. Like you ever see that movie
wait,
one?
1 hour, bro? Oh, I know I didn't see this movie. Oh, I forgot about this one. I had this one that fell down on the ground, and I got another one over here. I was getting jealous, because like Howard and Eddie both have like, their episodes get like, what do you call that? A banner and all that kind of stuff, and there's a song and everything. So I
Oh.
was trying to like create. I was going to try to create a photo, like a video, but I don't know how to do video.
But we have a banner. It just doesn't say anything. Would you want? I can make it say Summum Bonum.
Oh, that's right. I was going to have my phone queued up to say Summum Bonum, but we'll just have to say it
We
anyway,
did.
man.
I think that was the Spanish pronunciation was Summum Bonum.
Oh yeah, you liked that one.
Summum Bonum. Do 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 do. Summum
Anyway, man,
Bonum. Do do do
we've
do.
woken up from our nightmare into the greater good.
So that
Summum
was for
Bonum.
you probably couldn't even hear the music, but that was I don't
Oh,
even
you
remember
couldn't?
what. Well, no, I mean there was the beginning of it. It was like very like, and if I hadn't been the person that wrote and recorded that song, then I
You
wouldn't have
wouldn't have
known what
known.
it
Oh,
was.
okay.
But
I
it
was
was.
trying really hard.
I don't even remember the name of that song.
Well,
That
so
was
but okay, yeah. Well, it's the first track off of the is it,
sup, sup,
no
the
bad
poor
posture.
posture. The poor
Poor
posture,
posture. Poor posture.
which is
Yeah.
an awful band name that I came up with.
No, 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 no. It's a great band name. Congratulations. Yeah.
I just
Am I
really
loud
bad. I
enough?
really badly wanted to be in a the band at that point, and I just randomly came up with that, and everyone went okay. And
Okay.
that was our name.
Okay.
I've
Well,
never
there was
I've never been happy with a name that I've used until supporting actor. That's the first one where I'm
that
like,
one's
this
great.
is good. So
Yeah, that one is great. That one's awesome. That one's fantastic, actually. Is this mic up enough?
sure, yeah.
I
I
heard.
have
Okay,
mine
all right.
closer to my mouth now because I've noticed this new room has a lot of ambiance. The sound just bounces everywhere,
Sure.
and so
Oh, your records aren't in there to soak up all the sound.
no, I guess that's true. It's not. I still still have a rug, and now I have my music VHS collection behind me. Doesn't
Right.
that
And I
look
got
nice?
yeah, it looks super nice. I saw the transformation from it being there to it not being there
Yes.
to the patch on your wall. You had a patch on your wall.
Yep, I did. I did.
And now it's back.
That was
Yeah, so
that was all my wife too, because my wife has gotten to the point now where she loves doing like handyman type stuff, and we call her the handy ma'am. And
the handy
so
man.
really whenever like issues like that come up, my wife's just like let me take care of this. I'm gonna take care of this, and so she literally
Step aside. Step aside.
like cut it out and then did the
Right.
drywall. And then, and all I did was paint it. I painted it the same color. And that
Well,
was
I was going to say, yeah, it's now back to the same color because it was a little whiter than before because it was just a drywall patch.
Yeah, I was just drywall. But yeah, because as you probably heard in one of the episodes, I think I explained it that it was coming out of the wall,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
so that's why I decided to take off all the really heavy books that were on it before too, and make it just my VHS collection because that weighs a lot less.
Oh, yeah,
So-
that does weigh a lot less.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah. Not
so
on
here
that paper.
so here we are again. Well, because I have a lot of hardback books.
Oh, is that what you have?
I
A lot of
I
rock
don't.
books come out in hardback.
Yeah, I don't read
Yeah.
I don't read much, but whenever I want to get a book, I'm very turned off by paperback. So like when
Really?
I whenever somebody like puts out a book, I go and look for the hardback version, and if it doesn't exist, I'm like, guess I'm not going to read that book.
Okay. Sure.
There's
sure,
only a
sure.
few that I've read that came out in like a paperback form, but that was because that's the only way they came out. But if there's a hardback, I will try my best to get it.
Oh, okay.
I just
All right.
like the feeling of holding the hardback book.
Same. 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 Except for price is always an issue with that. They're always more expensive when they're in hardback.
That's
Yeah.
true, but it's worth it for me because if I actually spent my money to buy a book, it's probably one that I'm just going to want to keep anyway because
Right.
I don't
Right.
read much. So
Okay, okay. Well, I actually loved the paperback books because as I read a book, I like to tear the page out that I read until I have a stack of pages that I then put back together with a rubber band.
that is interesting. Is it what do you do with the rubber band pages after you're done?
I just put them up there on my shelf, and then every now and again the rubber band gets old and breaks, and so I have to put a new rubber band on it.
What do you do with the cover of the book? Just put it
Oh, it's
around it?
the front and back is that yeah on there, but I don't yeah because I like the book to be out all the way. And so I don't, and it's hard, So I started out by trying to just fold that fucker back, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And so it
yeah,
would stay open. And then all of a sudden, at some point in a paperback, it just goes crack. And
yeah.
then you're like, oh, look at that.
It's
They all come
almost
out.
like you should upgrade to just doing books on a tablet, so that way there's no pages.
Sure,
It's
no
flat
pages.
right in front of your
Right,
face
right,
all
just
the time.
right in front of my dumb face. Well, the Tibetan books, I think, are not bound. And I found that to be kind of a cool. They got to wrap them. There's like a whole like ceremony around them and stuff.
Is it
and a
like
ribbon.
string or thread or something that like?
No, I mean I think it literally they just take it and they just take it one off the other.
Oh, it's just
You
a
know what I
stack
mean?
of
It's not.
paper.
It's yeah. It's just a stack of yeah.
So not really a book, because it's not like
Kind of.
you don't go to the store and buy a ream of paper and say, hey, can I get that book? It's
no.
it's
I've
not.
never said it. I've never said that. You're right.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
right. Yeah.
So-
right on. Yeah. So anyway, hey, welcome back to this. You're in your new place. This is great.
Yeah, it's been a couple months since we've done this, right?
Uh-huh.
Or more?
Yeah, because
Has it been more?
well, I forgot why we were. Oh no, I know why. I had an anniversary, and we were going to do it on the weekend of my anniversary, right? But I was like, no, sorry, dude, I gotta go celebrate.
All I
and,
know is I took an entire month off, and then
Yeah,
we just
you
had
did.
and we had scheduling conflicts.
Well, sure, I just for everyone listening, I just want to let you know I begged him to move faster because I missed this so much. This is like the only reason I'm alive right now, and this is really great. I really appreciate you keeping an old man in the game.
If you
This
knew
is
the
fantastic.
amount of things that we ended up having to do with this for this house that made the move. I mean, I love this place, and I'm very happy to call this my forever home now because it's very nice.
Sure.
But
Sure.
it's old, and there's not only is there stuff about it that it's still very old, but also
Mm-hmm.
the people that sold it to us did the shittiest patch up job ever. So
Hence the
it's-
shelf coming out of the
yeah,
wall. or
and it's
whatever.
stuff that like we walked through the whole house with an inspector, and the inspector's all like, "Good,"
Right. Okay.
and it wasn't. It
Did they
wasn't.
choose the inspector, by the way?
No, the realtor did, not the people
okay.
who sold it. But it's not no fault of theirs because these are things that you couldn't just see walking through a house. But
Okay.
that being said, we're getting there.
Okay, fantastic.
Little by little, we're doing little things here and there, and all of the big things have been done. Now it's just all, some cosmetic stuff, and then random yard stuff.
Okay, hence the mowing.
Yes, mowing.
That's your neighbor's mowing, though, actually.
Yeah, my neighbors were mowing.
I was like, okay. So the roof is good, the foundation is good, the pipes are good.
We had to replace some bathroom pipes.
Just in the time you've been there, which is not very long.
No. So so literally what happened was when we moved in, the front bathroom. So this house was built in 1955,
Okay.
and the bathtub that was in the front bathroom was from 1950. It was a cast iron tub, and it was gross. It was gross.
Okay.
So we were gonna just try to clean it up, but it was like too far gone, and so. And plus, it's the bathroom that like my kid's gonna use, and I don't want to have to be like, hey, just use this. It's a classic tub. I know it looks gross.
Right.
So
was it a clawfoot and all that? No, those are
no. It was
right.
it was installed in the wall, like
Okay.
or in the floor in the wall, whatever. But
Right, yeah.
so we decided, well, we'll just get rid of it and we'll get a new tub in there.
Okay.
No problem.
Yeah, no problem.
And then while they were installing the tub,
They
the
found
plumber
out that
was
the floor.
the plumber was like, "Hey, the drain pipe is completely corroded. It's not even there anymore. Water is just flowing underneath the house when you turn this bathtub on."
Oh, nice.
Luckily,
Okay,
we
right
had
on.
never used it. So,
Okay.
but then we got to fix that, and then there was a few other issues. We had issues with the pipes for the washing machine, which my wife fixed herself. She was very proud of that.
Man, handy ma'am.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And she even at this point, like she figured out like what they did for the bathroom pipes, and like she's like, if they ever got to do that again, I'm just going to do it. We don't got to call anybody and pay anybody to do it. And I'm like, you're so hot right now.
Right. Okay, but how do you access? Because you don't have basements in Texas, correct?
No, yeah, no, we don't.
So how do you get where? So you're in a crawl space to get to these pipes.
No, they're like in the walls. You just got
But
to
the
cut
drain
into the
goes
wall.
under the tub, and then
Yeah,
Okay,
so
anyway.
so that you're talking about like as far as I know, it's not we're not totally flat on the ground. Like the way the house is built is there's the
Right.
foundation and then there's I
Right.
guess a layer for. Although I did
a
hear
layer,
a
House
layer of something, a layer
Right,
of air.
right.
Sorry, the dogs are being loud. The
It's okay. They're much louder in this new house than they
If
were
I-
in the old house.
If I remember right, what they were saying, and obviously, like I completely just turned off because I'm just like I don't want to get in my wife's way, but I'm pretty sure they said that some of the plumbing now goes up to the roof, and then comes down and then goes to the street, which is way easier for them to get to for certain things. So
Huh.
I don't know. I don't know
Well, I
anything
would
about
think-
this stuff.
Okay, I would just assume that your drainage though.
The drainage goes under, but it
Okay, well,
connects
we're
to
gonna-
like a
we're gonna-
street drainage. You know what I'm saying? Like
Sure. All right.
there's a point.
Totally.
I'm just
Totally.
talking out of my ass. I don't know. They fixed it. Okay, they fixed
They-
whatever.
right,
it was.
and now you can take a shower and it's not gross.
Yeah. Well, our bathroom's fine. It was this front one, but
Okay.
anyway, but the,
Nobody
like,
wants to take.
But there were random other things. There were bars on all the windows, and we took all the bars off, and just little. I don't know. It's just, but it seemed like for while we were moving, that like month and a half that we took to move, it seemed like every other day, like something would happen. We'd be like, oh shit, we got to fix this.
Right. Totally.
So, like I don't know, just random shit. But we're at the point now where we're not really worrying about shit every day.
Good.
There's just certain things that we're like, we're going to get to that one of these weekends. That's going to be a project or whatever, But it's a great place. It's a great house. I'm not talking about me. Nobody watching this wants to know anything about my house.
Well, okay, so, or they do because this is how they find out about these things because they tune into this one. And when we talk about that, because we're not talking about but my point being here is that I went to go help a lady who bought a house and decided to just rehab it herself too. And I'm like, wow, you're a badass. Like, this is really cool. But like, as it turned out, she wanted me to help because she wanted me to be in the basement so that if she was fixing stuff and turned on water, I would yell, yeah, no, it's leaking. that was like my job, right? She didn't want to have to run downstairs every time to check if water was coming through the floor or whatever. But man, yeah, she had the same thing too, man. It was just corroded all the way out.
you can't turn the
And-
water off from the street. We do that here. We literally just go out to the street. There's a little thing, and we go boop.
No, 100%. But in order to figure out if the drain going from her bathtub worked, instead of just dumping out into the
Got it.
basement.
Got
We
it.
had to get the whole pipe, and so we replaced it and replaced the next one and replaced the next one. Man, it was nuts. And I was just like, I'm glad I don't have the other job,
Yeah.
which is like she had an engine mount that she brought into her bathroom and jacked her old ass tub up off the ground because
Holy
she needed to
shit.
figure out what was going on. And dude,
Yeah.
not only were the pipes corroded, but the floor was all eaten out because it had leaked under there and stuff. She had to replace the floor and stuff. I mean, this is the kind of I can't even fat. My brother does this. Like
Mm-hmm.
if he has to gut something, he'll just gut it and rebuild it, and he has no fear
Yeah.
about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I freak the fuck out. I have none of those skills.
I just have really bad luck where something that seems easy will completely go wrong.
Oh,
like
of
I'm the
course.
person that like, oh look, look, all I got to do is take this drill and screw this screw into this thing, and then when I do it, the entire wall cracks. Like that's the
Yeah.
kind of thing that will happen to me.
Right. Right.
So
right.
I try
Yeah.
to I help out however I can. I do all the little things that are kind of
Right.
annoying.
Sure.
But most of the stuff, I'm just like, I'm probably going to fuck that up somehow,
Mm-hmm.
even though I don't want to.
Did you ever work any construction or anything?
Oh, there's somebody's revving their engine out there. Anyway,
I can hear that. I thought
yeah.
maybe you were entering a
I-
Texas Chainsaw Massacre chapter of your life.
I've
Maybe that's what those bars on the window were for,
they
dude.
were that's what they were for.
Yeah.
I've never worked any kind of construction ever.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked many years in like the record department or the music department of Best Buy, and then I worked
Dude.
as a front desk clerk at a dry cleaner for several years.
Nice.
Which was
How was that?
it was a great job for a guy in a band
Sure.
because I my hours were like middle of the day usually. But it
And
was
never
weird 'cause
on Sunday.
I worked at no, and I worked
Never
like
yet.
three. I worked three different dry cleaners, and the thing was the second one that I worked at was called American Cleaners, and
Yeah.
it was such a. Here's how cool that gig was, and I mean obviously that was years ago, and I should have eventually left the place, and I did, but so it was a little storefront. None of the cleaning was done there. So
No,
people,
none of it.
People would drop
Yeah,
their
you
clothes
drop it
off.
off.
A truck would come, take it
Yep.
to the plant, and then bring it
Yep.
back.
Bring it back.
But there wasn't a whole lot of stuff. So I didn't have to deal with like any chemicals, or I didn't have to deal with cleaning, or I
Right.
didn't have to deal.
Right.
If somebody came in and said, where's my stuff, and it wasn't there, I'd be like, sorry, you can go to the plant if you want to.
Right.
So, but it was such a chill job because there weren't that many customers, and it was
Okay.
right next door to a Pizza Hut, and almost every day they would say like, oh, we fucked up this pizza. You want it? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I do. What do you mean you fucked it up? Can you explain
Like they
fucked up, please?
usually like they
No,
put the
I get-
wrong thing on it,
No, I
and they
get
can't
it.
just leave it sitting because it's
Right.
they can't just give that to somebody else.
Right, right.
so
Well,
I
it's
would-
square. Right.
What?
No, we fucked it up. It's
Oh,
square.
yeah.
It's not round.
We
So can
dropped
you-
it.
Yeah,
We
Now,
dropped
that's
it
what-
in the
yeah,
trash,
right.
and then we
Yeah,
brought
we-
it to you. No,
yeah,
it
we
was.
fucked yeah.
Yeah, it was no. It was always just like they got somebody's order wrong, and so they were instead of throwing it away, they
Throw
just
it away.
brought
They
it to
gave
me.
it to you. Sure, they gave it to you. Why not? Because they'd already eaten several of them that they fucked
Oh,
up
I'm sure.
earlier in the day.
I'm sure.
That's like my favorite.
I love pizza.
I know. Yeah, I'm not supposed to say I love Pizza Hut because I live in Chicago and we're like a pizza town or whatever. I'm supposed to be like I love Mr.
I love
Sampson's
Vinny's on the
Pizza or
corner of
whatever.
Third and,
Yes,
and
exactly.
Palmer.
Right. That's my favorite pizza joint in the whole city.
Nobody knows how to make pizza the right way except for here
Right.
in this. Where I sound like I'm from Worcester.
I don't
or
even know
something. I
what
don't
you're
know.
doing now. That
don't
was
know.
not Chicago, but that was great.
It was
Thank you so much.
Goodwill Hunting is what it was.
Right. Right. No, nice. I also did not join into the Chicago accent thing because I really can't make it happen either. I've
Yeah.
lived here so long, I can't make it happen. It's a very tough accent to get.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
I
to
don't.
get it right.
There's, yeah, there. But is Chicago? Is the Chicago accent close to a New York accent, kind of, or Jersey accent? Is it?
No, it has.
Sometimes
it's,
those-
It's, yeah, no.
It's
they
like
do. the East Coast thing.
Australian and New Zealand. I'll hear
New
them and I'll go,
Zealand,
"Is it?
sure.
Is it? What is it?"
Right. Right. Well, and I can't get Polish, Russian, Ukrainian. It's an Eastern Bloc accent. I can't pinpoint the actual country.
Yeah, that's
Do you know what I
true.
mean?
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know? Yeah.
I
So,
I don't really have an accent, so I mean,
no, we and I've talked about it before. You did a great job.
I have an American accent apparently is
That's
what
right.
it is.
Yes. Well, right. Being from Kansas, I'm not supposed to have one because we're so Midwest that
Oh
we're
yeah,
supposed to just have absolutely no accent whatsoever.
yeah.
Though I did say cement for most of my life, and people kind of thought that was weird. And then,
How do you feel that you lived in one state that had a band named after it, and then moved to another state that also has a band named after it?
well, Chicago.
Yeah, and then Kansas.
Right. But I mean, there's no band called Illinois.
Okay,
So that's not a very good band name. That's not a
cut
very
that
good band name.
out. Cut that part
No,
out
no,
of the
no.
episode. Cut that out. I
Okay.
don't. I know that Kansas. Anyway,
Is a state,
is a state, and Illinois is a state, and Chicago is
Chicago
not.
is a city. However, there's really much to the chagrin of the rest of the state. There's not really a lot, going on. Chicago gets a lot of the attention, so people are just like, I mean, I guess I guess Boston was just a city too, right?
Just another band out of Boston.
What's the Texas band's names? Is there
Texas.
a Texas?
There's a band called Texas.
Oh, come on, there is.
Yeah, but they're from like Ireland, I think.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, that's not fair.
I can't right now, right offhand, I can't think of a band named after a city here.
Right. There's not one called Houston. There's not one called Dallas. There's
San
not one
Antonio.
San Antonio. Not one called Austin.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah, you'd think there would be a whole bunch of them because y'all are proud of your state.
No, fucking yeah. They're just proud of Texas. No one, it's like I get so tired of hearing the word Texas around here because everything in like every advertisement or whatever, it's always like this is from Texas. I'm like, "Ugh, I know where we
Right.
live. You don't have to
Right,
just
right.
sell me the product in the way you would sell it to anybody else.
Sure, just anybody else.
We got
Well,
a Texas size sale. Okay.
Oh, that's a big one. Does it say Texas on your shirt right now, though?
It does. It says keeping Texas chill.
Chill.
This is a Coors Light T-shirt that I got
Oh,
for
nice.
$2 from a thrift store.
Okay, well, that's awesome, and it's got some local style, a little
But
flair.
I do not condone. I do not. I'm not sponsored by Coors Light. I am sponsored by Tecate Light.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought it said just cat.
No, it's Tecate. It is a Mexican.
No, okay, I see, but it
Mexican
did
beer.
say cat in the middle. It did
It
say
did.
cat.
It
Eat
does.
cat,
It
eat.
does. It also says 8 at the end.
Oh,
So,
it does. Cat ate what?
Tecate 8. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it is a head show in Mexico.
Okay, well, we should just start reading advertisements, even though we're not actually sponsored by anyone. Tecate.
I would love to be sponsored by Tecate. I don't drink a lot of beer anymore, but the only beer I do drink is Mexican beer because it's
Oh,
kind of the easiest on my stomach.
okay, because you have said that you're not really drinking that much beer anymore. And then when we were texting back and forth pre-show texting, you said you got some beers, and that was surprising to me.
Yeah. Wait,
Because where's your little fizzy water and your mixed drinks?
It was logistics. Like I ran out and we were just at the store and I went, fuck it, I'm just going to buy some Tecates.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
All right, bye.
This is been
This
nice
has been
talking to you.
great.
Thanks a
but
lot.
I don't know
Thanks a
why
lot.
I was.
Anyway, I made these letters, and here's it is.
Summum
I think
Bonum.
yeah, Summum. It looks nice, doesn't it?
And I like the jam box or boom
The jam,
box.
yeah, that's a
But-
CF 520. That's classic.
Back when I
that's
had
really
one, it was called a jam box.
jam box. Yeah, we called it something that you're not supposed to call it anymore. I don't think you call them a ghetto blaster.
Ghetto blaster.
That was a thing in the back in the days, and then we switched it to boom box.
Boom box, yeah.
Yeah, boom box.
Yeah, we also they were called boom box back then too. Ghetto blaster, they were also called that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
which is-
I mean, there's ghettos still exist, and
Oh, totally.
and I don't think that's not culturally attached to anything. Is it like a ghetto?
Well, in America,
I
boy,
guess
does
that's
it does get kind of tied up.
It's like the
doesn't it?
word thug. It's like, well, we know who you're talking
Right.
about when you say
Right.
that.
Or gang member.
Yeah.
You know,
Gangbangers.
oh, okay, yeah, okay,
Gangbangers.
gang member. Oh, okay, I know. Now I know what kind of guy you are.
Yeah.
You okay, okay. And I
got-
mean by that by the kind of guy who uses the term gangbanger.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Because we all okay.
I don't live anywhere near anyone that would use terms like that.
Right. Oh no? In
No.
the whole state?
Well, I mean, all I know
I'm kidding, I'm
here's how like it's so funny, just like where we live and our family and who we are surrounded with. My kid the other day goes, it's weird seeing another white person because I always just assumed it was just the two of us.
Nice.
And I'm like, well, I mean, the most of the family we hang out with is Mexican, and we live in areas where there's not a lot of white people around here.
Okay.
So, which I prefer it that way, really.
Oh, sure. I love to be in the minority. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I just love being able to be like a good representation of my race. You know, that's all I
Exactly.
want. That's all I want to
Exactly.
do. I don't want to have to be hanging out in a room with a bunch of really shitty ones and go, no, that's not me. That's not me. But it's just me. It's just me that's presenting it. And I'm like, nope,
Right.
nope.
And you have, if you're the only one, you have more control.
Total control.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Over what the rest of, you can say about, I just, love the human race. That's what I love.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. I think a good portion of them are horrible people.
Oh,
We're just a bunch
Now-
of human ants crawling over this planet. And then there's a small group of us that are really nice.
oh, okay. Well, by saying us, I assume that you mean me too, and so thank you very much.
No,
I appreciate
I don't
that.
know what
No,
you're talking
not
about.
you,
It's dumb.
Not you, you dumbass bastard.
I don't
Right,
know what
right.
you Mark ass buster. I don't know
Right.
what.
Mark ass buster,
That's,
mother buster fucker. Okay, what's a Mark ass buster? Did you?
I don't know. That's a
a
term they used to use in the 90s.
Mark ass buster.
That the dude's just a Mark ass buster.
Well, they did not use that in where I was in the 90s.
Let me look. Hold on. Let me look that
Okay.
up. I'm going to look
Don't
up
even-
the phrase.
Okay. Oh, this is nice. You in
What
this
does the
relationship.
phrase Mark ass buster mean? The phrase Mark ass buster is a derogatory slang term used to describe someone considered foolish, weak, or easily manipulated.
Oh, a mark.
MarkAssBuster. Mark ass buster.
A mark. One that a con man finds a mark, right? To pull a con.
Like you're gonna fall for some shit. You're a mark.
Yo, man.
Now
Yeah, you're
it
a mark
makes
ass.
sense. I love it.
Exactly. Yeah,
would think
language
I-
is pretty cool.
I love now I know I'm gonna use that more often now. Now that I know exactly how to use it, because I spent most of my life saying, you know what, I'm not going to use that because I don't really know what it means. But now that I do,
Right. Constantly.
yeah, every time I meet one, I'm like, you are a Mark ass buster, sir.
Okay, Buster. I don't get the. Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't
Buster.
matter. I
Buster.
don't have to get any of it. A mark ass Buster?
Yeah,
One who busts is.
no, like Buster, like hey Buster, like it's.
Hey, but oh, you are a mark ass.
I
You're
think
a
it
Buster
sounds
mark.
cooler when you have like an African American kind of accent going on. It sounds
Okay.
cooler. White people
Well,
saying it,
sure.
And I'm not going to
No.
do a black scent. I'm
No,
just
you're
gonna
not.
I'm
Nope.
just gonna say Mark ass Buster because that's how I
Right, mark
normally
ass Buster.
talk.
Sure. Most things sound better when spoken.
Yes.
Yeah, like
You're
that
not
sounded
wrong.
awesome. That
You're
sounded
not wrong.
awesome how you just said that. That was incredible.
Yeah.
That was really nice. I liked that a whole lot. You know what's really weird? I spend hours and hours and hours watching you talk to me over a computer, and now I'm sitting here watching you talk to me, but you're actually talking to me right now.
Actually, this is a
weird-
recording. It's a pre-recorded
Oh, it's
thing,
a-
and I
oh,
just knew
okay.
exactly
glitch.
what
Right,
you would
yeah.
be saying. Was there a glitch right there? I knew
Yeah,
there
there
would
was a
be. I
little
programmed
glitch.
that into the show.
No, we were talking, like I was like, man, dude, we gotta like start writing stuff for the show or come up with stuff. And you're like, maybe we will, maybe we won't, or whatever. And I'm like, well, I can't just sit here and comment on the fact where I get to go like this. And that video you did was really cool. Like I
You're
was just gonna
right.
run through your entire deal.
I'm
But then I figured I'm the only guy like you. I'm a shithead.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't know I was a shithead, but I am a shithead, and I'm the.
What am I then? Because I was a fan first. I'm a stickhead. Did you
Well,
guys ever
no, this
decide
is
what stick fans were going to be called?
no, we didn't because there weren't any. No, it was not necessary. It
I've
was
seen.
not so-
There are some. I saw footage of you guys playing shows, and there were people there. So
Well, no, there were some people there. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think they were just right. They were there because it
they
was
were
like
there
a
to see
state
my.
fair.
They were there to see I Mother Earth. They weren't there to see you.
Yeah, they were there to see a whole other group, and we just happened to be in the way.
Yeah.
Man, that was a fun band to tour with, by the way.
Yeah, they were a cool. I only really know their first album. I think they did more than one.
Yeah, yeah.
But I really liked
Good
them.
guys. Yeah,
I'm
something
sure.
about the Canadians. Something about them.
Oh, they were
just the
Canadian?
Yeah,
That's that period of music where there were like a lot of these bands that didn't quite fit in, and I
Yes.
would always hear them and go, "Oh, that's kind of cool." Like, cause it's a little
Right.
bit funky, it's a little bit psychedelic, a little bit Jane's
Yes.
Addiction, but not like super
Right.
Jane's Addiction. Even
Not
a
a
little bit.
ripoff.
I know they probably didn't like it at the time, but a little bit Pearl Jam. I throw a little Pearl
a little
Jam
bit.
in there.
Yeah, no, a little bit. Yeah, yeah. Sprinkle, little sprinkle. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's one of those many bands. That's why I always say that, like, if I ever, there's certain times when there's like not a lot of new music that's really doing anything for me, even though I'm constantly looking for new music. But I always remind myself, I go, well, there's always those bands that you said, I've been meaning to really get into this one band from back in the 90s or back in the 80s or whatever.
Oh, sure,
And that's when
sure.
I sometimes will dip back and be like, you know what, I'm gonna listen to like both the I Mother Earth albums, and
Right.
but then that leads down the slippery slope of like, why are these not on vinyl? This sucks. Because then
Right, because it's all on CD.
yeah, and certain bands, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what level of demand it has to be, but like there are all these companies now that are doing vinyl versions of bands that didn't have vinyl in the 90s. And so I'm just like, well, what constitutes a band getting a vinyl release? Like, should they be doing I Mother Earth? Because the I Mother Earth had that song, the Rain Will Fall. That was in pretty heavy
Yeah.
rotation on the MTV.
was.
Well, the Headbangers Balls anyway. But,
Right, right, right. Yeah.
and then you guys got played like twice, maybe once. I don't know.
I
Once
think
for sure because I saw it.
Yeah, you saw that, right? By the way, never gonna forget. Hopefully, that you were like, and then the whole next week I was at school. Now, girlfriend.
Yeah, and my friends
yeah,
were
right.
so annoyed with me.
Right. So, is that like a Mark ass buster? What does no groovy mean? I guess I should answer that question.
But yeah, I still don't know what the fuck that song's about.
Right? Nobody knows what that song's about, do
I
they?
mean, I'm
wanna-
assuming it means like if it's no groovy, it's like bad because it's
Yeah,
like,
it's bad. Right?
yeah.
It's bad. Yeah, it has some negative connotations in the lyrics. Just about
Yeah,
standing in line and being part of the herd, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. I'm gonna re-record that song and I'm gonna change it to so groovy and I'm gonna change all the lyrics to like really positive lyrics. Today I was out in the sun in the deck on my deck out here. Got a little deck off the back of the house. It's
But
cleaned up.
you-
Jessica.
you got to
Go ahead.
sing it the same way though, because I'm
gonna
because
try.
now when you do music, you don't sing exactly that same way anymore. And so if you
yeah.
you
I
gotta
don't
figure-
yarl.
you got to find the yarling
There's,
again.
I gotta write. That's a tough one to get into. That was a lot of practice. The yarling. That was not just something that came natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But so is Lane Staley a yarler? And I am not comparing the level of skill I have to that man. That is not what I'm doing. But he had that.
He would be because he had like different things he would do vocally, but one of them you could easily call it yarling.
Okay.
But I feel like the biggest yarlers were like Scott Stapp from Creed,
Ooh.
people like that.
Thanks a lot.
Where like like most of their vocals was out, and because you could also say at some point Eddie Vedder did some yarling, but like but I think it's more like what's your range? Like, how much are you doing? Sonny, I told you don't eat the wall. You
I
don't need
know.
to-
I was so curious about this chewing the wall thing.
Yeah.
Why the wall?
I don't know, because
The
there's just
wall.
some corners, and he'll just sit down at the corner and go on the corner.
So it must
Okay,
be
he's-
made out of the same stuff that my album cover's made out of.
Shit, dude. I had to get rid of that. It was fucking gross. It was. It was.
It's gone?
It's
It's
gone.
gone.
It was because like the record,
album and everything?
One of the records was fucked up. I found, but like literally the cover and a lot of the inserts were wet, and I was just like, "This is fucking."
You had the
gross.
coolest cup. You had the coolest copy. Do you just put it in the garbage?
I did, yeah.
Oh,
What do you want? What do you want me to do with it? It was literally destroyed. It was. You only saw part of the damage.
I know. That was a great. And your dog is at the bottom of that picture, going, "Oh, okay."
Well, it was.
You're
So
like
it was.
holding up the record. In
So I'm
front of
pretty
your
sure
dog.
it was the two. I don't know which dog was in the picture, but it was the two new.
It was a
pit
black and
bulls.
white dog.
I don't know. She may have had something to do with it, but the two newer pit bulls, the mama and the boy, who's now old enough to rip shit up. I'm pretty sure it was them because they're the ones that get into trouble mostly. But
Okay.
they took that. They went to town with that thing. Like it was all over the house. So
Okay, so for those of you who are confused right now in the listening audience, if we've maintained anyone at this point, thank you very much. Is that I get a text what about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
maybe 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 weeks, and it is a picture of my record, my second record, the one I released, the one that's been featured
Great
several
record, by
ti-
the way.
Yeah, it's been featured on your channel several times. The cover, you use it as a sample for a turntable review.
Yeah.
You put it up in the. It was always in that little stand. You were being very nice to me, talking about that record and everything.
Yep.
And I get a photograph from you. It's just your thumb. It's just your thumb, and you're holding the record. And there are parts of the record that I'm looking at that shouldn't be visible
Yes.
with the other parts of the record.
Yeah.
And then I'm like looking at it, I'm trying to figure out like what did you do? And then I, because it looks psychedelic, like it was weird. And so
This is
was
what I
like,
think of your album.
what is going on? Right, yeah. And then underneath it says that your dog chewed up my.
Yeah. But it was one of those things where like because for a while we were just trying to go somewhere and just let my dogs kind of chill.
Sure.
But we
Sure.
realized we have like a big like box, like a cage
Okay.
kind of thing that the two troublemakers go in now when we leave. But they had messed with a whole bunch of stuff, and they had gone in and like stuff on my shelf had been like pushed and stuff like that. But for some reason that record was the one, and it was on a shelf that's like dog level.
Right.
But
right.
they're in bags and stuff. But for some reason, that was the one that they were like, "We're taking this," and it was like out of the little slip cover, and it was the records were out. Like literally, they had just taken the whole thing, and I think that they tried to chew on one of the records and then decided that wasn't that fun.
Right. It didn't taste very good.
I guess, or I don't know. So, or it didn't break easily. I don't know. But my problem is that I have like a pretty severe case of like OCD, and so if something is like messed up and I can't fix it, I have to get it out of my house.
Okay.
Like it really, like I feel uncomfortable, and I'm like I can't put this back on the shelf. Where do I put it? Where do I put it? Like it
Right.
really like I freeze, and yeah.
Put it in the garbage.
So I got so the garbage
Okay.
man got it. But
Okay. Well, there you go.
hopefully that doesn't hurt your feelings. I wasn't trying to hurt your feelings. I was just
No, it's not. It doesn't hurt my feelings. Actually, I thought it was pretty cool that I was basically mauled by a pit bull, which is what I thought was pretty awesome that I survived it or whatever. Because I
Yeah.
have said several times the best way to die is to be killed and eaten by a predator. That would be the best.
I don't know about
if it's like,
I mean, it'd be cool to tell everybody about.
oh
but
my
you'd be
God, it'd be
dead.
totally cool. Well, but you're gonna be dead. So I mean, if it's like, oh my God, did you hear Smirl died? Oh, how did he do it? A fucking lion ate him. Like that'd be like, oh, what a fucking lion ate
Yeah,
him.
but he
You know what I mean?
managed to get a few good jabs in before.
Hey, poke his eye out. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. Just drug up a tree. Like those fucking nature programs where they just fucking drag your dead body up a tree
Yeah,
and just eat you up there. That'd be so cool.
that's frightening.
I imagine you would be dead pretty fast.
It depends on the animal, I would think.
Well, that's true because sharks probably just take a bite out of you and swim away. But and bears, they kind of just probably wouldn't kill you before they ate you. But I'm assuming a lion enjoys, or a tiger, a big cat, maybe a pack of dogs. They're going to tear you apart, right?
Yeah, I feel like they want you to stop moving so they can truly enjoy you. So I think they're going to do
Right.
everything in their power to, like, turn your lights out
Right.
before they really start
Yeah.
eating you. So
Yeah, because they are, there's that off chance that you jab an eye out, so they want to make sure you can't do that. So yeah, I think they'll,
Yeah.
right. I haven't seen a nature program in a long time, so I've kind of forgotten.
neither have I. But we have some nature going on. We have hooting roosters next door.
Oh yeah,
And
how is that? Oh yeah, you like that in the morning.
I
What
do
time
I
they
do
go
like
off?
it, but I've also discovered that because there are roosters, there are also snakes. So we've got snakes just like
Not,
hanging around.
not clear of that distinction.
I think I think the roosters attract snakes. So that's what my wife told me, and she's smarter than I am. So
Well, obviously she's that.
yeah.
I mean, no offense
So,
to you or anything.
But
I mean,
I've gone outside
okay.
and just seen a really long snake just go, not a grass snake, like a proper big old snake, and I'm just like, okay, cool. Well, we have snakes just hanging out here.
Do they commune? Are they a symbiotic relationship, roosters and snakes? I've never heard this before in my entire life.
Maybe they want to eat them. I don't know how that works.
I am literally not having an argument through you with your wife about roosters and snakes.
All
I'm
right, let's
just trying
let's go
to.
back to the internet.
Oh,
Do roosters and chickens attract snakes?
I know they
Yes.
attract rats.
Roosters and chickens could potentially attract snakes to a chicken coop for several reasons. Snakes may be drawn to the coop for food, shelter, or water. Okay. So they're trying to get to the coop, I guess. The coop.
So to eat the chicks or to swallow the eggs.
Who-
I've seen a snake eat an egg before. That's
there's
badass.
snakes. Who the fuck knows? It's not like you can ask them. Hey, dude,
No.
why'd you do this?
No, they just say this.
so hungry.
Yes. I would tell you, but it's a secret. Yeah, that would be what it would be. That would be what it would be. Okay, well now my brother had chickens at his house, and they attract hawks because hawks love to try to eat the chickens. Raccoons love to try to eat the chickens. Possums love to try to eat the chickens, and rats love to eat whatever the chickens don't eat.
Yeah, I haven't. Luckily, we haven't had any rats or anything. In our backyard, we do have a whole lot of frogs, which I kind of enjoy. The dogs kind of enjoy those too.
Because you lick them and you get stoned.
I don't know. All I know is
Right,
I'm happy.
yeah.
I'm happy that they don't want to hurt them. Like
Right.
they just get real close
Right.
to them. Like, let me get real close to you and look at you and smell you. And the frog's like, what the
Right.
fuck?
Yeah, they can squirt shit out their skin, right? Probably makes them seem like they probably smell a little bit like they're going to taste like a frog.
I don't know. All I know is that I'm super careful going out to take the dogs out at night because I don't want to step on any frogs because I'm just like, frogs are cool as hell. I'm just like, I don't want
They
to
are.
ruin, I don't want, and there's little tiny ones too, little baby
Yeah,
little frogs.
little-
And so I'm just
right.
like, I'm not going to murder frogs on accident.
No,
The only
no.
things I kill on purpose are like roaches just because they're gross.
Yeah, why do we hate roaches?
They look gross. I don't know.
Yeah, they do look gross.
They look fucking gross, and I just like
Right.
my reaction is get the fuck out of my house, and
Right.
I will.
Yeah.
I hate roaches so much. I will smash it with my bare hand just to get it
Ew.
to get the fuck out of my house.
Really?
Just like smash
Really?
it, and then
With
I'll get a
your
paper
hand?
towel. Yeah, I don't care. I hate them so much. Get them out of my
Right.
house.
Okay.
I think it's because when I was a kid, I was tormented often by water bugs. You know what water bugs are?
Yes, I
Like
do.
the flying roaches. They're like fucking huge, and then they literally just
Yeah.
fly like at this speed, just
Just
through your fucking house. And they always
Right.
seemed like they were just flying right at me. Like they knew.
Okay.
They knew that I didn't like them, and I was just like, "This is the worst." And I'd tell my dad, "I'd be like, Dad, there's a flying roach in the house." He's like, "Well, go kill it or something." I'm like, "I can't go
Okay.
kill it. It's scary." And so now I just have no patience for them whatsoever. I'm a grown ass man. I will just smash
Right.
you
You'll smash
with my
them.
hand.
Right. Smack.
Yeah,
And then you just got the bug on your hand.
it's all right. It's very rewarding. I mean,
So I think
I'll
we-
wash my hands before I do anything else, but
Okay, well, I think we have. I don't think I know what variety of water bug that you're talking about because the water bugs in Kansas didn't fly, and the ones that they call that associate with bugs that crawl up out of the drain and stuff, the water bugs or whatever. Do you mean the ones that like can land on the water and do that stuff? They can kind of like
Maybe
skate on
maybe
the
the
water
term
with
water
it.
bug means something different in other places too.
Okay, but we have these things that are like fucking gross. You can't tell what the head or the tail is. They just got a fucking million legs that stick out of them. They
Are
look
you
like
ta-
an eyebrow. They
Oh,
look
are
like
you
an
talking
eyebrow
about
or an eyelash or whatever they're called. Like
silverfish?
no,
Silverfish?
silverfish are those little silver. I know what those are, and I
Okay.
can't stand those. And speaking of those are always in books.
Oh,
They
yeah.
love the glue. I think they love the glue.
Yeah.
But
They, you know what they
the
don't love? iPads. So just read your books that way.
yeah,
They
I'm
don't
not
care
gonna
about
do it
that.
though.
They don't care
No,
about
they don't.
technology, silverfish.
What kind of bug eats a computer?
I don't know. Is this a joke?
No, I'm just kind of curious. It seems weird that there's nothing that eats a computer.
Well, that's not true because you could get a bug on your computer and it just won't work anymore. You know, like a bug,
Yeah.
actual bug. Get it?
Oh no, an actual. You're so, but no, but seriously, so nothing gets in there and eats the wires. I've never even, well, in
The
musical
way they
instruments.
make computers now, how do you get in? It's got to be like a termite or something.
Well, isn't there? Well, that is true. But there seems to be holes all over this thing.
But
Maybe
I
bugs.
think the way they design it now, they have layers of stuff, so it keeps things out. I would think because I haven't heard of something getting inside a computer since the '90s. If like I don't know,
I've never heard of anything being inside a computer at all.
except for
Ever.
people keep files in the computer.
In the computer files. Sure,
Yeah,
sure, sure.
they're in the
Yeah.
computer.
They're in there.
That's a Zoolander joke.
Okay, I never saw that movie
The
because
files
Siskel
are
and
in the computer.
They're
and
in
they
there.
smash the fuck out of the computer.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen that scene on YouTube before.
You may have.
Yeah, I didn't see the movie because Siskel and Ebert gave it 2 thumbs down.
Then they're fucking wrong. That movie's hilarious. It's so good.
Okay, well, I love both of those actors, so I should
I
check it
assume
out.
you think I'm not a very good at Googleizer. What is that? Oh, you think I don't know what a googly is?
I googly.
Somebody that speaks at funerals? I suppose you think I don't know what a googly is.
Like half of the things you talk about, I have no idea. Like when you were talking, when you said that you hadn't seen Space Jam the other day, and Eddie is like,
Space
"Wait,
Jam.
what?
Oh,
You
Space
haven't
Jam.
seen
Yeah.
Space Jam?"
Yeah.
And you were like, "Dude, I was 18. What? I don't know what." He
Yeah.
was like, "Oh yeah, no, you were right, too, right?" You were like, "Yeah,
I knew what
yeah.
it was. I just didn't
No,
see
of
it.
course you know I know what Zoolander is, but I just didn't see it or whatever."
Yeah.
And okay, so you got the internet in 1997,
Yes.
is what you said. I got the internet in 2004.
What? Wow.
Right? Right.
So you didn't get to have the good internet. Like shit was already bad by then.
It was pretty funny. It was funny. There's a lot of jokes on the internet, like that little girl eating an onion, and their mom kept saying, or she just kept saying, "Hey, I want to eat this apple," and their mom would say, "No, it's not an apple, dear," and she would take a bite out of it and cry. But she was so
You've never seen Zoolander?
Okay.
I've never seen
No.
a girl eats
Well,
an
that
onion.
one came. No, you never seen that? Oh, it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Did you
Have
see Two
what a-
Girls, One Cup? Did you see-
Yeah, no, I didn't, because I think we've already discussed this once.
You don't have a fecal fascination.
Well, I wouldn't say that, Steve. I would just say that I was living in a town with a gentleman who was in a band named Cocknoose, who was friends with Merle Allen, who was Gigi Allen's brother and manager, and they got into a video trading scenario.
Got it.
And one time a tape showed up in Lawrence, Kansas, that was horrific.
Yeah.
Wow.
Say no more.
I mean,
I'm not
it was, yeah.
Yeah.
And so by the time Two Girls and One Cup came along, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Apparently it's fake anyway, so
Is it really?
yeah.
You don't see it come right out of the butt into the cup? And then
No,
just go
no.
at it? Oh,
No, I don't
that's-
remember. I don't remember that being in the video, but I may have blocked it. I don't know. But
Sure, sure, sure.
I think
Sometime when we're not recording, I'll let you know what I saw, and then
okay.
you'll probably, yeah,
I feel like
yeah,
most videos are faked anyway these days. Like this, the moon landing. No,
yeah. That one was totally fake.
totally
That's
fake.
okay. Yeah, it's totally fake. We went later, I guess.
No, it was just Katy Perry. She went to the moon
Oh, right, to the
with a
moon.
few other women, and that's the first time they've ever been on the
They've
moon.
ever been there.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was it.
that was
It was the
yeah,
other thing was just a hoax.
yeah.
Because
Well,
all
I'm
you
gonna
got to
say,
do is pay $1 million or whatever, and then you go to the moon. That's how it works these days.
I thought that they got to go as an advertisement for the
No,
moon.
no, they paid to go.
They paid him to go. I thought that maybe Jeff's fiance got to pick who her crew was going to be.
What, it was Jeff's fiance in the group. I didn't research it that much, so I don't really know.
Well, you didn't do
I
your
love
own
that we're calling him
research.
Jeff like he's like an old high school buddy.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know,
just gonna
Jeff. You
start
know what
calling him
Jeff's up
Jeff.
to now,
Yep,
aside from
yep.
being a billionaire and and apparently having slaves. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, does he have those? Did
Oh
Jeff
fuck,
get
I
some
don't know.
slaves?
People say all kinds of stuff about all kinds of companies, and
Right.
The world's
Oh,
already so
Amazon.
depressing as it is that I don't look into any of
Sure,
these things because I'm like,
sure.
look, I believe you, I just don't want to go and confirm it. Thanks.
Right, right, right. Well, I'm only concerned with the greater good.
Oh, the summum
Bonum, yeah,
summum bonum.
summum bonum,
Would you
summum
like to
bonum,
watch summum bonum?
summum. You actually referred to our show on another video of yours as someone's boner.
Some.
So I was like,
Yep.
well, there we go. That's
Someone's
what it
boner.
is. Someone's boner. Yeah,
Summum bonum. I'm
summum
getting more
bonum.
used to actually the actual name now.
Yeah,
So
summum bonum.
and I like it. It's very unique.
Yeah, yeah, it's Latin,
Nobody
you know?
would call their show that.
Nope, just
The-
nope.
Their management would be like, can we call it something
No,
else?
it's not gonna
wacky,
fly.
wacky, crazy fun time show. Like, yeah, maybe.
We need it. How about we call it the Wacky Fun Time Crazy Show? Well, I liked everything but crazy. You're not supposed to do that, say that word anymore.
Oh, we don't say crazy.
Yeah, you're not supposed to because it's
Wacky,
shame's
mentally
crazy.
ill fun time show.
Okay, wacky, double wacky fun time show.
Is wacky not a bad word now?
I think wacky. Anyone can be wacky. That's not that's not diagnosable.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there are phrases that I'll just randomly say, and I always have to go, oh wait, is that a phrase that we use anymore? Because I don't,
Right.
I never want to be that guy. I used the term jinx the other day, and I was like, is jinx a bad term now?
I know. Is it? What's that?
I don't know.
Okay, because I looked up. Somebody used. Well, I'm just gonna say they used chintzy, and I was like, is chintzy bad? Like, is that
That sounds
from
bad.
China? Like chintzy China? You know, because they used to say stuff about stuff that came from Japan, which I thought, you know what? Racism is so fucking relentless. You destroy a country during a world war, then you make them make your stuff for you, and then you complain that they didn't do it very well.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck off. What the fuck is I just
I mean, at the end of the day, if like once the whole human race has died out for whatever reason, and
Okay.
somebody's writing
Sure.
a book on them, they're going to
Sure,
be like, "How would
sure.
you sum up the human race?" They
Right.
just wanted to blame shit on somebody.
somebody else. Yeah, on somebody else.
That's
Right,
all
right.
it is.
Wasn't
It's
me.
just a bunch of weird
Wasn't me.
people that just wanted to blame
them.
shit on other people.
Other
And they
people.
wanted to complain.
Right. Yeah. Man. So like a man. Ugh. I mean, they did it to the Polish people. They did it to the Irish people. I mean, who were the people in America who were being so racist? I just don't even understand who we thought we were. That we were like going to make fun of the Italians that came over. We were going to make fun, like everyone had their, and then, it's so horrible.
Well, we was like, but like the original Americans were shitty enough to where literally they came over to somebody else's country and then didn't
Right.
like them.
Right?
Like,
And
what are
then
you
said,
here? I don't like you. Get out of here.
I have an issue with you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's so weird. But so is it just the English then? Have we narrowed it down? Because I didn't
The
say
English are pretty shitty.
I mean,
like-
they did. Okay.
Like, and so, and you
Hey,
can't. Sometimes you
Just
can't. Sometimes you can't tell if they're actual assholes or if that's just their humor. You know,
right,
there's that fine line when you're talking
right,
to a British person
right,
where you're like,
right.
if I don't know you well enough, then you're kind of just a dick. But if I know you really well, I'm like, oh, his sense of humor, isn't it? Kind of, it's a very
Yeah,
biting sense
right.
of humor. I love it.
Yes, yes. At least I know where he stands. He's very honest. He's very
Yeah.
honest. Yeah, I don't know. So maybe it was the English. I hate to say that. I do love a lot of English bands.
No, yeah, there's some good English bands too. There's also
Yeah.
some shit English bands. So
No, that's true. That's absolutely true. Hey, I was going to talk to you about 1997, man, because like I
oh
really
yeah,
feel like that was, excuse me. This is where I asked my family earlier, should I just wear my gym shorts? Or should I put some, yeah. Oh boy.
I mean, if you're actually wearing pants, that's an improvement.
I have pants on.
Okay.
I totally have pants on. I don't, my mom used to say, when you go on a long car trip, she'd be like, do you have clean underwear on? Which I was thinking about that. She didn't always used to say that, and she was joking. She said that a couple of times. I think that was the thing you said to your kid or whatever. But if you're going to get in a car wreck, you're going to soil your pants, even if they're clean, correct?
Yeah, and also once you've
Right.
worn a pair of underwear for a few minutes, they are no longer clean.
No, that is true. I wouldn't put them back in the drawer or wherever
Yeah.
you keep your Do you keep your underpants in a drawer?
Yes.
I have a bin
In a
now
drawer.
in a closet that's got underpants in it. This is the first time I haven't had
Well,
a drawer.
technically, it's a bin that has drawers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, dude, I really think in 1997 something happened to me.
Okay.
I mean, I this is close to being in alphabetical order, but like, okay, so at one point I got really into "And They Will Know Us by the Trail of Dead,"
From Austin, Texas.
1998, right? First record. Afghan Wigs, they literally put out Black Love in 1996 and then put out 1965 in 1998. Do you know what I mean? This was
Yeah.
happening to me all over. Buffalo Tom, they didn't have an album in 97. Nick Cave, he had a Boatman's Call. I never heard it. It came out in 97. Dinosaur Jr., which you talked about, Handed Over, which I love that band. I mean, absolutely one of my favorite. They put out a record. I never heard it. Big Audio Dynamite, who I love, entering a new ride that came out in 97. Didn't hear it. Brand New Heavies put out Shelter. Didn't hear it. Chemical Brothers, Dig Your Own Hole. Didn't hear it. I don't know what it is. I was like, how did you pick one year where I'm going through all these bands that I was totally into, but I never even heard? Like the Eels, Beautiful Freaks came out in 96, and Electroshock Blues came out in 98.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay,
So you were
Eggstone.
still listening to a lot of 1996 music all the way through 97, and before you knew it, it was 98.
98. Yeah, Fantastic Plastic Machine. Their self-titled album came out in 97. Never heard it. Fatboy Slim, 96, 98. Right? I'm like,
Yeah.
what's going on? Fu Manchu, one of the only records I never heard. The Action Is Go came out in 97.
Yeah.
Granddaddy, never heard that first record that came out in 97. Guided by Voices, one of my favorite groups of all time. Mag Earwig, never heard it. Came out in 97. And so
How is that one of your favorite groups of all time, and you there's an entire album that you've never heard?
okay, so this is why I'm fascinated.
I feel like you
you.
have more of a life than most people. That's why you were busy doing
Oh.
real shit.
Well, but I mean, you're gonna want to throw stuff on to listen to it. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's like the Hives. I never heard that Barely Legal record that came out.
Oh, that's a good one.
Downward is Heaven came out in '98 from Hum, right?
Oh, that's
Kruger-
amazing. Have you not heard Downward is
I've
Heavenward?
never heard it.
Holy shit, dude.
Okay, so and then like Kruder and Dorfmeister, who I both like, they put out a record in '96 and '98. Los Lobos, Colossal Head was so fucking good. '96. This time came out in '99. I was really into this band, The Land of the Loops. Their album came out in '96. Built to Spill put out a record, but I didn't hear it. Dig put out a record, and I did not. That was the one Flaming Lips record that I didn't really get into that came out in '97, and that was that. What was it called? Zurika or Zurika?
Oh, that's the one that you had to listen to on 4 tape decks at the same time.
Which I did.
Okay.
And it was pretty cool. It was
Yeah.
pretty cool. But it was at a New Year's Eve party, and you know what happens on New Year's Eve, right? A lot of,
A lot of drugs.
well,
I would
just gonna
hope if
say-
you're listening to that album.
Sure. we were in a conga line going through this entire house, and it was playing. Everyone was in a different room, and they were like, "Okay, go,
I
bam!" And they played it.
I literally thought that conga lines only happened in movies.
Me too, until that night.
Yeah.
Until that night. You know, Fugazi, didn't there? That one record came out in '98, right? End hits or whatever. I feel like they had a record that came out in '98. PJ Harvey put out
Yeah.
her.
So Red Medicine was 95. End Hits was 98.
'98, right?
Was it?
I think it was '98.
Yeah.
And so Ice Cube's War and Peace came out in '98. I was all over that record. Cypress Hill 4 came out in '98. I was all over that record. DJ
Well,
Shadow and
So
go
yeah.
ahead.
Okay. So we're in 98 now. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so but they're like DJ Shadow's record came out in '96. DJ Spooky put out a record in '96 and then in '98. Like this was
Around that
incredible.
time, I couldn't keep track of all the DJs, so I checked out.
Right,
all
no,
of
that was
music.
tough. Yes. Well, you know, because that was like when I moved to Chicago and I got a job at Tower Records. And so I was like, I was in it. Like that house thing here is huge and the dance
Yeah.
clubs and all that stuff was going on and the industrial music and everything is heavy beats. And,
Well, not to
you know,
mention, like even like in the mainstream world, like around that time, like everything was Daft Punk, Fatboy Slim. Everything was like,
oh, yeah, sure.
all
And I
that
fell
shit.
for all that stuff.
I like Prodigy. That's kind of as far as it went for me.
I liked them too. I liked them too. That was good. But, you know, like Mercury Rev, the Pogues, the Radiohead, that record was good. That one I got into,
OK
right?
Computer.
That was OK Computer, right?
Yeah.
Sparkle Horse, Talking Heads put out a record, but I didn't hear that.
Oh, I didn't either.
Surprise, surprise. But I was like, okay, Blur put out Blur in '97, and I
Yeah.
fucking love that record. That record was constantly being
I'm assuming you probably heard it at whatever episode we recorded where I said, I don't know who the fuck wants to listen to
fuck
Blur.
played. And I was jumping up and down going, me, it was me. That's what I was doing.
I just remember
So,
watching the little short documentary about the battle between Blur and Oasis, and I'm just like, who the fuck would choose Blur
who cares?
or over Oasis?
First of all, is that even real?
Yeah, it was real.
Okay, was it really a battle between the Rolling Stones and the Beatles? I mean,
No.
was that one real too?
I don't think
Okay,
that was
so I
real.
fig-
But this one was like almost like a British football. You know how like footballers are
Yes,
like, no, I'm
yes,
from here. This is my.
yes,
It had
yes.
to do with like where they were from. It was
Yes,
the
yes.
people backing their boys from their neck of the woods. And like,
Okay.
it's so funny to me because I'm all like, England's like smaller than just the state that I live in.
I know, right?
And you're like, that guy that lives around the corner, fuck him. He doesn't live from
Fuck
the
him.
same corner that I live from.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's really intense. Like,
So
when
I
you're
would just be
packed in
going
there.
off the music, and I'd be like, I'm gonna spend my money on fucking Oasis and not Blur, because like,
Okay.
because literally you got like fucking Supersonic, which is a fucking amazing song, or you have like live in a house, a very big house in the country.
Oh, it's a
like who
great
wants to
song.
hear that?
I do over and over and over again. Man, that record was so good. That one is that on 13 or is that on? That's on 13, isn't it?
I don't. That's an early one, I think. Is that one? Is that Park Life?
Yeah. Maybe Park Life is really good too. I guess I fell on the Blur side, but I don't have a problem with Oasis. I didn't really think that was an actual battle. I thought that was just a made up thing.
Yeah,
Like
no,
the
it was
Beatles
a battle
was-
for like who was gonna win, like who was gonna sell the more records, and like it was a competitive thing, for like a really short period of time. That
Okay.
and Oasis obviously won because they're fucking massive, and Blur are Blur. So
Right. I can't talk shit on Blur though. I really like Blur.
no, but I'm just they didn't achieve
What about
the
Pulp?
same
Did you listen to Pulp?
level of success. I just had that one album with Common People on it, and
Okay.
and I didn't love it. I didn't hate it though.
Sure.
A lot of those bands,
Jarvis Cocker, isn't that Jarvis Cocker?
yeah, Jarvis Cocker. There's
Yeah,
a few, like some of the bands that you mentioned, like Afghan Wigs and bands like that. They would have like nothing that they did was like turned me off, but it was almost like music that literally just like I was made of Teflon, and the music just kind of just washed over me
Sure.
and fell away, and I was just like,
Sure.
oh, I think I just listened to an Afghan Wigs song, but I don't remember what the fuck it sounded
Right.
like.
Right.
Because it did not stick to me at all.
No, okay, cool. So you've never heard Gentleman.
I have, yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I don't know. When that record came out, it was like so fucking brutal. Like his lyrics are so fucking
But
brutal.
he came
And,
off like a douche, though. Like that, like
oh,
lyrically speaking,
sure he
I
did.
was always just like, that guy seems
Sure.
like a douche writing these
Oh,
lyrics.
no, 100%, 100%.
Yeah,
But he had that cocky swagger thing that was enough where it like carried it. And like, I don't know, man.
it didn't do him
Like,
any
I never want to
favors
meet the
because
dude. I don't want to
there,
meet the dude.
yeah, there was a
I don't want to meet the
there
dude.
was a long running story in Austin that Afghan Wigs came and played a show, and then after the show, people beat the shit out of him because he was annoying.
Well, okay. I mean, I can see that
Yeah,
because he probably wouldn't back down for shit, and he probably not going to take shit, and he probably just got his
why
ass
not?
kicked, and whatever. But I mean, I'm not saying it happened or didn't happen. Was that real? Did it really happen?
As far
Is
as
it
I know, it did.
allegedly?
I don't know. We'll have
Okay.
to get him on the phone. What's his name?
Greg
Greg Dooley.
Dooley. Greg Dooley.
Yeah.
Greg Dooley.
That's
But
how. See,
so
that's why I'm not very good at like math and all this other stuff. Is that a band that I don't even like? I know what the lead singer's name is.
I know, dude. When you and Eddie talk about stuff, I'm like, I don't even fucking know what you're talking about. Like, I cannot. I would have to go and look it up and listen to it and go, oh yeah, that. Or I don't know anyone in any band's name.
But imagine,
or
imagine
anything.
that you have all the shit that's in my head, and I still feel like there's so much shit that I don't even know. Like people will
Oh,
talk
there's
about
a
something, I'm like,
right,
I don't know what that is. So
right, sure, sure.
I just know what I know. I know a lot about the things that are in my world.
So that well, but your world is music, and so you have a very encyclopedic knowledge of all this stuff, or at least you and Eddie and for that matter Howard, you guys at least act like you do. So good job.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't know if it's real or not.
it's an obsession.
Sure,
It's and it's
100%.
been and it's in you. I would have to say that it's a lifelong obsession because I've felt obsessed with music since I was probably around 10 or 11, like the tween years when you're about to become a teenager. Somewhere around there it started that thing where I couldn't stop thinking about music. I always wanted to listen to it, and if I bought records and I liked the records, I always wanted to buy more records, and that literally has never stopped. So it's been
Okay,
almost
but
40 years of that. So
right, and I feel like I was that way too, and actually when you were talking about, and I think it was in your guide to vinyl, people getting back into vinyl or whatever, you had said that you got rid of your album collection at one point and then started again in what'd you say 96 or something, or when was it 2000 something, when
no,
did you say
2016.
2016
2016.
2016, so that you've amassed that many thousands of records or whatever
Couple
since
thousand, yeah.
that
In
time
yeah, in
is incredible.
7 years, 8 years.
Yeah, yeah, like you are literally. I mean, that was an amazing. I mean, because a lot of people
Well,
their whole lives have 2,000 records. Do you know what
yeah,
I'm
well,
saying?
but
You know
also,
what I
but
mean?
I've been, some people would say I cheated because I went online and ordered them from people that were selling them. But I got obsessed with the fact that I was able to build the collection that I wanted without. So it's why I'm obsessed with like original pressings of certain albums. Like here's my and I talk about this in the video. Here's my
Yes,
mindset. I want this Judas Priest album. Okay.
right.
The Judas Priest album, they're a British band. So the original pressing of this album would have been released in the UK. I
Yep.
don't want the original UK pressing because if I had bought it in 1977, I would have bought the US pressing in
100%.
1977. So
Yep.
I want the 1977 US pressing of this
Yes.
record, and that's the
Sure.
one I will get. So I build this collection that's exactly what I want. So once I figured out that there was a way for me to do that, that I became obsessed with that, where I'm like, I'm
Right.
getting the exact version of this album I want if it's available or if it's, financially, possible. But that's why the collection boomed really quick, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, because I just got so obsessed and loved so much the hunt of that exact thing. And sometimes it
Sure.
was right there for me to just click and pay for it and it got shipped to
Oh,
my house.
100%.
And other
Right.
times I had to sit on it and be like, all right, I just got to wait for somebody to decide to
Right.
sell a copy of this particular version of this album that I want. And but yeah, I had a really large CD collection, and I probably had about 100 records maybe when like by the late 90s. But I had a whole shitload of CDs. And then I just remember at one point I upgraded my stereo system and it didn't have a record player. So I sold all my records because I'm like, well, I bought them on CD. I don't need these. So I sold them all.
Right.
And then I realized as we moved into like the 2000s and all of that stuff, once like the iPod became a thing and I had the music just there ready to go, I realized that I wasn't listening to CDs. I was ripping them to my iTunes and just listening to them in headphones. And that's because I never enjoyed the CD experience, because I never wanted to put in a CD and just look at this little book. I never wanted to do that. So once I talked about this in a video a long time ago, but I don't know if you've seen that one, so you may not know. But my vinyl collection started 2016. Girl I was dating at the time had some records, and I was like, oh, it's cool that you have these records. And she had like a little shitty record player. And then one day she's like, well, let's go to this record store. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Let's go to this record store. And I was just looking around at the records. I was like, it's so cool. Like all these records, like I don't have anything anymore. Like I literally sold all my CDs at that point too. I had nothing. And I had some money trouble around that time anyway, but still. But I'm looking through all the shit and I find an old school copy of Rat out of the cellar on vinyl, like an 84 pressing of it. And I pull it out and I look at it and I was like, and it wasn't like these like sort of hipster record stores, they don't give two shits about Rat. So it was like $9.99, and I was just like, okay, it's in really good shape. And I pulled it out and looked at it and I was like, this literally looks like the original record. Like what the fuck? And so I went, I don't want to just leave this here. I'm gonna buy it. So I bought it, and then I went home and I'm like, well, I guess I got to buy a record player.
Nice.
So I first bought like a pretty cheap record player that was not but like the moment that I put the needle down on it and it played that first song, I was just like, this is amazing. I was like I have not had this excitement just listening to some random album in a long time.
Right.
And so that's where it started. And then I upgraded my record player probably like 6 months later or whatever. But I immediately started going to record stores, and then once I discovered Discogs, I was like, oh shit, I can just find whatever I want, and I can just get it. Because I talk about it in the video. I want to listen to the records and hold them and look at them. I don't really care about the hunt. I'm just like just give me that
in the wild.
In the wild. I don't care about if I find something in the wild, that's fun as hell. But most of the time, those stores have nothing. Like, imagine if I had tried to do the collection that I have in the wild, I would never be able to do it. I would die before I ever got halfway through the shit that I wanted to get. So
right. Huh.
Anyway,
well, interesting.
That's my story.
Well, have you? So it's cool because you have. I don't know. I didn't. I only grew up with records, cassettes, obviously cassettes. Everything had to be bought on vinyl, and then you taped it, and then you gave it to your friends, and blah blah blah. And then when you're into the punk rock thing, and there's no other way to get it. A lot of times, there's not very many of the copies, and one person got it from some town that they drove to visit somebody else.
Yeah,
their grandmother or whatever, or whatever. So there was always this tape thing that was going around. But like, I always missed. Like as soon as the CD thing happened, I was very slow to get into it. I mean, I was working at record stores when it switched over.
Yeah,
when then the long box, and all that shit. You know what I mean? Like there was just a classical section at one point that was just basically the classical heads all wanted to get their music on digital CD because it sounded so good.
Yeah, that's what they had. Are you talking about Tower? Because
no.
Because the Tower Records in Austin, they had a completely separate floor that was just the classical section. Yeah.
Yep. And it had CDs before the rest of it, right?
Yeah, yeah. They
Yeah.
touted that. It was a big deal of like,
Yeah,
and
it's
these are
huge.
direct digital
Yep.
transfer of these
Yep.
Vivaldi's
Yep.
whatever.
Four Seasons. I hope that was Vivaldi.
One
I
of those
really hope
things.
that was Vivaldi.
Holt's
Yeah.
Planets or whatever. That was
Right.
something.
Yes, right. Taco Bell. Not to be
Well,
confused
that's
with Taco Bell.
yummy.
Yeah, yeah.
Some
Um,
chalupas.
but I think it was because I was working in record stores. The store copy was such a big deal. The play copy, the in-store copy. You
Uh-huh.
just like, they would show up and then
That
you
had
could
the
get them
stamp
and
on
stuff.
it.
Yeah, the whole thing. I mean,
Yeah,
we didn't sell them, we had them, but whatever, it was
yeah.
fine. It was, where you, but I did miss the record. I always missed it. I always missed the major large art is what I
Y-
always missed because like,
Yeah.
well, I mean, dude, anyway, the long and short of this is that now that I've like been kind of getting back into this thing from, my involvement with you and listening to you talk and like have like, dude, when I bought this thing
Oh
and I sent you
shit.
this or whatever.
Yes.
Okay, when I saw that it said poster, inner sleeve, fan club merchandise, and temporary tattoos were in the motherfucker,
Yeah.
and it was $50, and I had heard you go, well, you're gonna pay like $40 if you're gonna buy a record nowadays. Like it's not cheap or whatever. I thought
That's
50
cheap
bucks.
for that. For what you got there, is it in good shape too?
Dude. Okay, so I just took the plastic off.
Yeah.
That was the thing I missed. You got this huge thing in your hand. There they all are, right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, it just goes to Dow.
Yes.
Like this
Yes.
is
That might as well be porn for me. Just opening up a
yes.
gatefold.
Oh, right, which is why every record I put out has been a gatefold. Like I will just okay. So like this is what you got used to when you were in this when you got into this band.
Yeah.
This was crowd shots.
Oh yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And you know what? It is crazy how nostalgic that Casablanca
Oh yes.
uh label is. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
It,
And
which is
so,
which is funny because I feel like when I grew up there were only three artists that I remember from Casablanca: Kiss, Chic, and the Village People.
oh, I thought Donna Summer wasn't she on Casablanca?
I didn't.
No,
I don't
am
think
I
I had
wrong?
Donna Summer, but
Okay.
I'm pretty sure all three of those were on Casablanca, and
Right.
so I remember those labels. My brother
Oh,
had
for sure.
the Chic. What was that song that was big by
La Chic,
Chic?
La Freak.
La Freak,
La
yeah.
Chic. Right.
Yeah.
That you get a
So yeah,
booklet.
mine has that inside of it. Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Oh, it came apart. That's all
Oh,
right.
it's
Look
okay.
at Paul.
I'm not
Paul.
worried about it. Not
Yeah.
worried about it.
No, it's been well loved, and now it's going to be loved more by you. And that's
Oh my God. But like, so when you got a CD and you got this little thing, it was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is a drag. And then it got to be where like, oh, we're just going to put just the CD and one picture on the front and just the songs on the back. Like it
Yeah,
got
oh,
real
yeah.
minimal and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was kind of a drag. But thank you for getting me back into the physical purchasing of goodies.
Not only that you like so you got $50. You paid $50. You got this OG copy. It's got the
Oh, yeah.
poster. It's got the
tattoo.
tattoos in it, but
Yep.
it also has Rocket Ride on it, and that is come
The
on,
greatest song.
come
The greatest
on.
song. No, I know, no, I know. And you know what was weird? Like, so it's very difficult when you live in a city to get any kind of darkness when you're sleeping because every fucking thing is lit up all the time or whatever.
Yeah.
So we've really got blackout shades and the whole thing. So sometimes in the morning or whatever, I haven't lifted up the shades or whatever. It's kind of dark in here. And so I was like, I was out in the other room and I was gonna do some while I remember. I'm like, oh, right, I gotta put that Kiss record on. So just pulled it out. I d't even care what side I had or whatever. I just
Yeah.
put it on this thing. And like, what are the chances, like out of 3 live sides, that I put the studio side on first? And I was like, oh my God, man, this was like, it's mind blowing, man. And this is that thing where you like, I hate this band so much because I was into them in second grade, right? Like fourth graders were into them. I thought I was cool. I could go to a record store. I spent my first money on Kiss records. I knew nothing but Kiss for like 4 years, which is a long time as a person who was only second, third, fourth, fifth, no, 5 years,
Yeah.
sixth grade. I went through sixth grade. And so, and then, but when I listen to them now, like My love is larger than life.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
dick is so big, you can't even hold it. Like,
Yeah.
what is going on? What kind of messages were going into my head when I didn't even know what those messages were?
Yeah.
Like, it's
You know
super
what? And you
weird.
turned out fine.
Well, did I though? I mean,
I
I'm
mean,
nice.
comparatively speaking, I would say yes, you did.
Okay, well, bless you. You too. I appreciate that. But anyway, dude, I was just like, man. Anyway, and Gene Simmons is particularly creepy, right?
I just don't. I'm fully against using the term love to replace dick.
Well, but
Because
that's what it meant,
Plaster
right?
Caster, he just keeps saying it, my love, but he means his
Yeah,
dick, and I'm
yeah,
like, don't call
yeah.
your
It means
dick
his
your
dick.
love. That's
No, I
creepy.
right. Well, but don't you think he meant that the whole way through?
Probably, yeah. Love gun.
My Yeah,
His
love
dick
gun,
is the
right.
gun.
His
Yeah.
dick is the gun. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I mean, if you were dancing with yourself, that meant you were
Is that what Billy
masturbating.
Idol meant? Dancing with myself.
I figured the Madonna
What
meant
was
that.
the safety dance? Is what I want to know. Was that
Oh!
were we wearing a condom? That's the safety dance.
Men without hats,
And-
which would be, imply that there was no condom,
Yeah.
no hats, no caps, no Jimmy caps. Right,
Men
okay.
without hats, and then when they do
And
the
without
safety dance,
hats,
they're
for
wearing
the
their
safety
hats.
dance. They wear their hats.
It's like all these different dances. Neutron dance. What's the neutron,
Neutron dance.
What is it?
Well, what is
She's
it?
burning, doing it. That's all I know.
She is. She
She's
really
burning,
is.
doing the neutron dance.
Right.
She,
That's
they
because-
are the Pointer
They are,
Sisters.
sure, the
Show
Pointer
some
Sisters.
respect for the Pointer
Right.
Sisters.
There was more than one.
Before
okay.
all those other groups, there was the Pointer Sisters. Well, I guess you could say you could go back to like the fucking Supremes and shit too, but whatever.
Right. There were the Supremes. There was the Supremes.
It was the Shondells or whatever, or some shit like that. What were they called? What was that one?
the Shondells.
Yeah. Okay. Those them.
Well, okay. I can never, ever, ever remember the guy who made the Wall of Sound. What was his name?
His name was Phil Spector.
Thank you. Why does that name never? Speaking of Teflon, I can't remember Phil Spector's name. I'm going to forget. I'm going to forget Spill Fector. I'm going to forget Spill Fector's
Well,
name.
Spill Fector all over the place.
Yeah, right. That's a good band name. I didn't really think, wasn't there kind of a trend in band names? Just flip the.
There was. We
okay.
once played with a band called Clit Eastwood, and I just thought that
nice.
was the best band name. Clit Eastwood.
That's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, so like in '97, I then got this album here. It's a band called Alpha, and it's called Comes from Heaven.
Uh-huh.
This thing came out in '97, and immediately I was like, I have to go get a physical copy of it. I can't just listen to it on Spotify because I never had an iPod, what do you call it? An
iPod or an iPhone, really.
I never had any of that stuff. I never had a Walkman. I never had any of that stuff.
You never
My
had
music-
a Walkman, like a cassette
No,
Walkman?
dude. No, dude. My music was in the car or at home
The fucking,
or at work.
The
At work.
cassette Walkman was one of the most important inventions in my life.
I know my parents would not let me have one.
Yeah.
And so and I thank them for it because I do not need to have music when I'm out in the world ever. I'm just completely used to leaving the house and taking in the world without.
Fuck the world. I want fucking music in my head. That's all.
Sure.
Love
sure.
it.
Sure. But I'm like yeah. So anyway, this album was not available on.
I
Album.
don't even know what that is. What kind of music is that? Is it?
It
Do
is
you
like-
know me? Is it something I'm going to like? That's all. That's all I needed you to say. It's fine.
Okay. Well, okay, but dude, you do say things surprisingly a lot like, where's all that weird music for weirdos that used to come out and all this stuff or whatever? And I'm like, okay, well, what are you talking about? Did you listen to Ween? Were you a Ween fan? Were you a King Missile fan?
No,
Were
that's
you-
so there. That's different. That's music. Those are like the weird guys from Drama Club who just decided to start a band. Not like I'm like it's there's like they're not really that interested in music. The music is the backseat to the weird. I want the stuff where the music is front and center and it just happens to be weird. Like there's like
Okay.
it's like when somebody puts out like a comedy music album, the emphasis is on the comedy, not the
Oh,
music.
yeah, it's on the comedy. No, it's on the comedy.
Yeah, and I know people would probably say, "Oh, Ween's, they're very talented. talented people, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sure they fucking are. And I've heard songs by Ween that I loved.
Yeah, they're
and,
good.
and same thing was
yeah.
like They Might Be Giants. That's a band that like I feel like there's a lot of humor in their music, but I'll hear stuff and I'll go, that song's fucking great. I don't give a shit.
Well, it's
so
clever. It's very clever.
Yeah. So it just depends on the group, really. But the problem with bands like Ween is that people immediately point out these fucking goofball songs. And I'm just like, this,
Right.
I don't care. Those songs are good for one listen only.
Sure,
and then
sure.
you fucking
No,
move
100%.
on.
Yes. Well, yeah, but I mean, I think a lot of bands have singles and you're like, okay, great. But the rest of the record is really great.
Like,
know
do
what
you
I mean?
ever
Like,
wake up and you're like, you know what? I need to hear Detachable Penis one more time.
No.
No. You've heard it. It was funny the first time. And then,
Right, it was.
And then it
Did you
was
ever
just-
get into Dr. Demento, though? Were you just young enough to never gotten into Dr.
No,
Demento?
I knew who he was, but only because he was like Weird Al would talk about him, and
Because he was on the show all the
yeah,
time.
and
Yeah.
so I knew who he was, and I would see like compilation CDs that from Dr. Demento and stuff like that. But I think when he was on the radio, like I wasn't listening to like. I was never very adventurous with radio, so I wasn't the guy that was like looking
Oh,
for
I
some
loved radio.
weird station.
Yeah,
So
no,
I
I
always
loved
just
radio.
listened to like, well, what's the alternative station or what's the rock station? Because I didn't listen to a lot of radio. It was more like, oh shit, I forgot my cassettes. Okay, I'll just listen to the radio while I'm going to the store. It wasn't, I didn't actively listen to the radio very often.
Dude, okay, I'm not going to push for this or whatever a lot. And I don't really care if it doesn't happen. I'm not going to be disappointed, whatever. But I mean, like, this whole thing about this age gap between people from Eddie to you to me, it's like intense, man. It's like so interesting to watch you struggle with stuff that, because Eddie's just going to be 30, right? Or is that what
He's 20. Yeah, he's 20 years younger.
Oh, he's
than me, so
27.
he's-
He just turned
27.
27.
Yeah.
Yes, his Saturn return. He just entered his Saturn
And then
return.
you're 10 years older than me, correct?
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
57.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, how old is Howard?
I think he's probably 50, your age as well.
Okay.
So, like, I know for sure that he was, because the first Acid Rain album came out in '88, and
Okay.
I think he was like 18 in '88
Okay.
or something like that. So, do
Okay.
the math, something like that.
Sure.
So he's
I'm
in
not going to do the math.
he's
I'm
in
not
his
gonna do it.
mid 50s
Right.
at least.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Well, because the radio was like, okay. So the radio and growing up in Kansas, you just, I mean, I remember AM radio being the only thing that was going, and then
Yeah.
FM radio came along, and it was like, whoa, like I was there for FM radio, and then it was like, oh, okay, and so yeah, then there were rock stations, but
Yeah.
you couldn't always get them because they were like out of Kansas City or whatever. You couldn't always get them in Topeka, and so it was like, there was this one KY 102, which I don't even know if it's a station anymore, but like they played Dr. Demento on like Saturday nights at a certain time. So my friends and I, who were like all into Monty Python movies and all that kind and Warner
Yeah.
Brothers cartoons, memorizing Caddyshack and like just movies that had boobs in them and funny actors or whatever. We were just kids soaking all
Yeah.
that stuff up. But the radio was what we had. And we're calling in. You know what I mean? When they've got promotions, we're trying to win tickets to things or an album to something or a T-shirt for something, and we want to get the bumper sticker for the radio station because somebody would pick out the V100 Boogie Ball sticker on your car, and they would give you some tickets to something or a T-shirt or an album
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
It's all these contests. So the radio really pulled you in, and it really kind of unified everybody because we were all hearing the same songs, and you could call your friend and go, dude, they're playing that song, they're playing it, and then
So-
they would tune in.
Everything
You know what
that
I mean?
you're describing, I experienced that with MTV.
Yo, totally.
So
totally.
that was the
Yes.
only difference, is that by the time I was cognizant enough to make my own musical choices, MTV was already established
Already
in
a
a
thing.
thing. Because it
Sure.
started, MTV, what, was it 82 or 83 or something like that when
Sure.
MTV started?
Yeah, probably because
and-
I didn't have it.
And so,
You had
and
to
so
pick-
by the time, so when my first, it had to have been around 84, 85 when I first started like really making my own musical choices. So MTV was already there. So
Okay. And so, because like a Death Puppy that I was in, this the Death Puppy band, which
Mhm.
I am going to really do a deep dive into your catalog because sometimes I really want to know what most of your lyrics are because you do not publish your lyrics with your songs, and I can't always tell what you're saying.
Oh,
And I have a
I might
feeling
be
that
able
you're
to help
saying,
with that.
I'm assuming you would as the author that you might be able to help out. But some of your lyrics seem very, very good, very deep, and very kind of it's very cool. And
Sometimes, sometimes.
well, but sometimes people don't have them ever. Do you know what I mean? So
Oh,
congratulations.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So congratulations.
Thanks.
You've hit something. But yeah, MTV, empty, EMPTY, MTV. That was what we called it, and because
Yeah.
it was devoid of anything, you know, because we were already too cool, you know, for MTV to come along, and we couldn't get it because it was on cable. It was a
Yeah.
cable package, and you had to pay for it. My parents were not going to pay for television at all. And so I never had HBO or Cinemax or any of those things
Okay.
that other people had. So MTV was fully firing by the time you were
Yeah.
cognizant.
Yeah.
And you were right at the age where like you really it went right into your brain.
Yeah, because all of a
Nice.
sudden I discovered
Nice.
music,
Sure.
and then I realized that there was a channel that's all they did was play music with visuals, and I was like, well, why would I
Yeah.
want to watch anything else? My
No,
favorite thing
totally.
though about like the quote unquote like punkers, you know, in the 80s that
Sure.
like the like, and I'm using that term loosely because that kind of goes to like, you know, any independent music and all of that stuff that was
Yeah,
going
yeah,
on,
yeah.
is that all
Yeah.
of these people would just be like, you know, fuck MTV. But then in
Sure.
the 90s, they all experienced all this great success because MTV helped,
Right.
you know, shine a light on bands that then shone a light on these smaller bands.
Sure.
And so all of a sudden, like there was a really great scene, and who
Oh,
was
sure.
really responsible for it? It was fucking MTV. So
Well,
because
okay,
because
sure.
yeah, like I would never like so many bands from the 80s, like
Yes.
it would have taken such a long time without the internet. I would never have heard of like Black Flag and the Minutemen and all of this stuff. I heard about those bands because like Kurt Cobain or somebody else would be wearing a Black Flag shirt, or they would mention Bikini Kill or some other band, you know. And
Right,
so it's
right.
like, the only reason I heard them say this is because there was a channel devoted to music videos and interviews and all this stuff. So it
With
was like,
artists.
so yeah, so MTV was like people can talk shit all they want about it now because it doesn't even play music anymore. But
Right.
like, I love it when like there are people who today still say shit about like MTV like ruined music. I'm all like, are you sure about that?
Well, right.
Like it really
It
didn't.
ruined their music.
It didn't
It ruined
though.
their
That's the
music.
thing. These are all people that you probably listen to music that the artist gained some kind of either financial or fan base success based on something that happened with MTV. And so it's like you can point out negatives, sure, but it's like the thing that I always say, like imagine a world where MTV didn't exist, we wouldn't even be friends. Like MTV like had to have played your video, you know,
No,
and
100%.
and a major label had to have wanted to sign you up, but your band, it's not like your band was like mainstream sounding music, you know? So that whole wave of all that shit had to happen for you guys to get signed and for you guys to get a video. And then little old me that never would have heard of your band saw the
Right.
video. And then
Right.
30 years later, you and I are buds. So it's like,
Nice.
you
Right.
know, it's like it's one of those things where it's just like I hate it when people talk shit about MTV now or back in the day and they say things like that because I'm just like that's very short-sighted for somebody to say that MTV ruined things because it really it for a little bit it was very important to making music seem important, and now music doesn't seem very important anymore unless you're a celebrity. And then
Oh, of
you know?
course, of
So,
course. And I mean, now none of it, I mean, honestly, none of it matters because it was so long ago
oh
and
yeah, but
shit's so
people still
different
talk
now.
shit. It's like this. It's like my problem is people that harp on shit that those of us who actually lived through it and those of us who actually care about music, we've already moved on from all that stuff. You know,
Oh, sure.
the same people
Right,
that are all
totally.
like grunge killed hair metal. Those of us that lived through it and those of us that care about the music are like, it didn't really. It's more to it than that, and I don't have time to sit and explain it all to you. So,
Right,
it
right.
gets really aggravating. But the big thing was the indie bands that you would hear them in interviews talking shit about MTV, and then in hindsight, I'm like, you guys kind of had a nice time because of it. So,
Right, right,
yeah,
right. And it's weird. It's weird what 82 to 92 what difference it is. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like the world majorly changed is in that time
But like,
period. Like
I've talked about this in like Cranked and Ranked a lot, where I'm like, I feel like, and you fall into that category too, because I feel like probably starting somewhere in the 70s all the way through to the mid 90s, like a lot of us were very spoiled with like all this great music that was happening and how like there were whatever like a trend or whatever it would be, whether it being like prog rock or punk rock or new wave or whatever, like these things just kept fucking rolling, and
sure.
and there would be like a new genre and then a new subgenre from that genre,
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
it was
yeah.
so exciting and it just kept moving and like everything just felt like there was this forward momentum of like we're all trying to get better. We're all trying to grow. We're all trying to just kind of just move forward in this crazy like open-ended artistic world of music. And I love that because it's just like if you literally sit down and you look at like all of the shit that happened from you just say 82 to 92, and you look at like
Right,
all of the fucking monumentally amazing music
right,
that was mainstream and that wasn't mainstream that all
right.
came out, like it's insane.
It's
And
like a golden era, I think, in a way. But I mean, I'm sure the jazz era was great.
but
I'm sure that
then
everyone,
but it was
I'm
but
sure
it
everyone
was
said that same stuff. And
if
I'm
you
sure
were
people in the '60s said the same
if
thing
you were
too.
into
Right? I
that
mean,
music, but imagine if you were somebody like me who was constantly looking to broaden everything. And
sure,
if it
sure,
literally was
sure,
like,
sure.
oh, do you like jazz? There's 10 other people that do jazz. I'm like, oh,
Right,
well, I already have jazz.
right. No,
But then,
right, yeah,
like, obviously you would have like jazz fusion, or you had somebody like Miles Davis doing some fucking weird ass shit. That I
sure,
probably would have been into that. But even then, I would have been like, where's the stuff that isn't jazz? Like, where's, bring me that other stuff too. And
totally.
so I feel like it
Yeah.
was a snowball effect with music that,
Do you feel like okay? Well, I can see that. Yeah, the momentum just got going. Right, right. Well, do you think that because this is what I don't really get now is it still happening, but I just don't know about it because I am near 60 years old.
it's happening in some way, but not. The, there's there used to be an excitement just around everything that was happening, and obviously you still had to have talent, you still had to have a little bit of luck, you still had to have some of these things. You had to put in hard work. Some people didn't have to put in as much hard work as other people did, but it was just a big machine
Right,
that was rolling of everything.
right.
But now I feel like the majority of the story is hard work and luck. The excitement is there, but it's not a thing it's not a snowball anymore. Like you're not just like once you jump into the machine, you're like, oh my god, we're going for a fucking ride. Let's write some songs. Let's play it.
Right,
Now it's like,
right,
oh, do I really want to get involved in this? Because now I gotta work on my online presence, and now I gotta make sure if I actually even want to get seen by a label that wants to give me any money for distribution, I have to have a certain amount of followers, or I have to have something that trends or goes
Right.
viral. And the number one thing that it seems like the music companies want, that they want to make people celebrities real quick, because once they become celebrities, people that don't really give that much of a shit about music, then they become fans of these people because now they're celebrities, and people love
Okay.
celebrities more than anything else. And so it's like, that's why you see these people pop up, and you'll probably
Right.
have the same experience where somebody will pop up and you'll be like, her name is Jane Flowers, and she just sold out to a show to 500 million people, and you're like, I've never even fucking heard of her. And it's
Right,
because
right.
there's this big push to like, well, you blew up and you went viral, and one of your things got 5 million views, so now we're going to make sure everybody knows that you're a celebrity, and then once the celebrity happens, then everybody fucking jumps on board and everybody wants to be a part of it. And so it's not really about the music as much anymore.
Okay.
If people
Right.
still love music, that's the thing, and there's still underground music happening,
Right.
but I feel like it's more of a struggle. It's more of a
Okay.
like, if you get into this, you need to really be into it. Like, it's got to be your thing that you want to do. And I feel like it's almost like more of a natural thing now for like bands to just break up after a few years, because it's like,
Well, do albums even need to be made anymore? Like, I don't even really understand how.
for
Like,
me they do.
no, I understand. I get it because I mean, because and this is, I think, what what you had been talking about. What I was trying to get around to saying that I agree or whatever is that our habits around music, the habitual, the way we took it in, it came in a format, and the format it lent itself to a habit, and that habit. Like why I never got into the iPod thing. I walked around with. I never got into that habit, and I never got
Yeah.
into ripping CDs, or I never because I never had a computer. Like I just didn't have a computer. The only reason I got the internet in 2004 is because I bought a computer in 2004
Yeah.
because it was just simply no way to avoid it anymore.
Because people probably kept asking you what your email address was, and you're like,
And I
"What?"
didn't have one. Yeah, I don't even have. You know, I didn't.
Email?
Yeah, email. Right. I didn't think any of that stuff was going to take off.
Yeah.
I thought,
You-
what is this texting thing?
You know
Right,
what?
yeah.
This is funny. I've never told you this, but like now that you
Okay.
mentioned it,
Okay.
so I remember like once I figured out that there was like stick related stuff online. Like, because
Okay.
I was all like, oh my God, there's like, I found like a live performance and like other stuff. And I was just like, oh, and so I started doing like an internet deep dive. And that's when I found, what's his name's Facebook page?
Matt Roberts.
Yeah.
Matt Roberts. Yeah.
And like the only picture of you that wasn't from the 90s that was there was you like with a snowplow or something. Like you were out in the snow. And I was like, now he's got this long ass beard. And I was
Yeah.
like, he's probably a dude that like doesn't even have a computer now.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. So what's really like this is like and I've gotten to Nomad or whatever, and so it's like very cool. But like for a person who did not grow up in this at all, have someone say, "Oh yeah, there's a person on Facebook who has a web page that's dedicated to your band," and I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I got to know that person, or it's got to maybe Mike did it, or Daryl did it, or Tim did it." Because I mean,
Yeah.
I had a YouTube channel for years that was I had all sorts of stuff on there, pictures and live stuff and all sorts of stuff, and but I guess it made sense that I would have done it, or one of us would have done it because
Yeah.
we were in the band or whatever.
Yeah.
But then like and I didn't like so when I got on there to look at the pictures, like I think the picture of Daryl is from like a corporate event or something
Yeah.
through AT&T, and it was like he found that picture because I was in the newspaper in Chicago during a snowstorm outside scooping my sidewalk.
Yeah.
And a reporter literally walked up to me and said, "Hey, I'm from this Tribune. Can you do it?" And so Matt must have lifted that picture from a Tribune website, which means that someone typed in my name. I've never typed in anyone's name.
Yeah.
I don't have any I don't care if I know you or whatever. You know what I mean? It's all good. But I don't. I never even think to go on the internet.
But
If you want to
yeah,
be honest
oh
to God, I
yeah.
do not ever even think. People go, well, dude, it's on the internet, and I go, oh, right, the internet, right, yeah, right, right,
Well,
okay.
for me,
Yeah,
like I don't give two shits what the second drummer of AC/DC is doing. Like,
sure,
but for some
sure,
reason, these smaller bands from
sure,
this period of my
100%,
life, that's why all of a sudden I
sure.
was just like, what are they doing? Like
Oh yeah, no,
what
right,
is Mr. No Groovy doing these days? You know,
yeah,
I
yeah,
really wanted to
yeah,
know.
yeah. I was scooping my sidewalk.
There was
I was
just
listening.
somebody's car took off down the street. It's all right, no
That's
big deal.
you got some Mad Max shit going on out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Sonny, it's fine.
Yeah.
Come lay down. It's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Matt, right? He's a
Yes.
good guy, man. He's good. He lives in Nebraska.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
speaking of Nebraska, you said that kid got that record I sent him?
Yes.
Okay, because he posted something
He
about
did.
it or
Yeah, he did a
whatever.
post about it.
Oh, okay, was he talking shit on it or was he okay with it? Because I would figure if he was listening to you and he was probably into some heavy music. First of all, I thought it was his dad because there's
He
two.
saw me post the album when I got it, and then
Uh-huh.
he said, "Oh, how can I get one of those?" You know,
Right.
so and I don't even know him that well. Like he's just somebody that follows me. So, but
Right on.
I try to like be to respond to people like if it's something like that where they're just like where can I get this particular album or whatever, if it's
Right.
something that isn't easily googleable, oh I like that. There are
Right.
literally people that like I'll post like an album like when I'm listening to it because I do that,
Yes,
and then
yes,
somebody
yeah.
will say what does it sound like, and I'll be like you could literally just Google this and listen to a
Right. And
song.
listen to it. Yeah,
Like
you could
what
listen to
the
it. Yeah,
time
you
that you
could, right.
took to write
Right.
what does this
What does
sound
this,
like.
you could already be listening to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could already be listening to it. That's
Instead, you want
okay.
me to go, well, it's kind of a post-hardcore slash. I don't
Oh,
know.
maybe they do want you to do it. Maybe they do want you to do that.
I hate that. That's the one reason why I don't really like doing album reviews very much because
Okay.
I feel a need to explain what something sounds like to people that don't know what it is, but I don't want to do that part. I want to be able to just skip that part and go, here's a new album from so and so. If you don't know them, fuck off. Here's what their new album's like. It's great. Here's the things that I like about it. Because I
Right,
hate
right.
being like, well, it kind of sounds like this, or it kind of like has. That really bums me out because I'm just like,
Don't like that part.
no, no. In fact, I don't. I don't want. I don't even want to read somebody's description of what something sounds like. If there's something that draws me to something, I immediately figure out how to listen to it, either on the streaming or on like if it's on Bandcamp or it's on YouTube, whatever it is. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna listen to it for my damn self, and then that's it. Anyway,
That's it.
I
Okay.
feel like we like wandered off from something that we were talking about.
Well, I was talking about Alpha. I was talking about records in '97.
Oh
I think you know
yeah.
what? I think that this Alpha Comes from Heaven is on Spotify now. It wasn't because
Well,
I didn't have. Here's what happened.
I don't use
I
Spotify, but
oh, okay. Oh, you use Apple Music.
Alpha Come from Heaven. Boom.
Yeah.
Right there. And then they have wait, is this the same band? Is the same band
Yes, they
have an
have
album that came out literally last year?
I that maybe.
Yeah, it looks like they have an album called Failure that came out in 2024.
Hmm.
And you go back. Oh, this is their first album, Come from Heaven. Oh,
Yeah, it's awesome.
it's under the term electronic, which could go either way with me. Sometimes things that are classified as electronic are annoying, and sometimes they're interesting. I'm at,
Well, okay, so the other day, Jessica and Sequoia were hanging out, rocking out, listening to music, whatever, and then Groove is in the Heart came on. You know, they put
fuck
together
yeah.
okay, they put together a playlist and that song was on it, and I was like, I thought at one point that that music sounded so cool that that was just going to be what music was going to sound like from now on, man, because that song is amazing.
It's great.
That song
Yeah.
is amazing. Pew, it got all that stuff in it, you know, and I thought all this DJ sample mixy stuff was going to go on forever. It was going to just be the most popular stuff because I fell for that stuff really hardcore
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
it came out. I mean, I loved it. And I think it was probably just being in this town and being around all the people that were into it. And it was like the club scene was like it was the deal. It was what was
Yeah,
going on. It
yeah,
was like the punk rock of its time. You know what I mean? It was like they were the people who were renting warehouses and having parties and just
yeah.
the stuff was happening. But yeah, did you like Portishead? Did you
Some,
listen to anything other than okay? Because
some of it, yeah.
yeah, their album came out in '97, the self-titled. And did you ever hear Spiritualized?
Also, same thing. I'm sure I've heard spiritualized. This name is very familiar. So
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we are floating through space came
I,
out in
I,
'97.
I
I
had
was
a lot
really
of
into that
friends that
record.
listened to a lot of that stuff, so I heard a lot of it, and I didn't really like a lot because I was listening to in '97. I was listening to like a lot of like post-hardcore type shit. Like Hum is a good example of what I was listening to in '97, and Radiohead, obviously. When
Right.
you listen to like to my, because even my top 10 from '97, probably
Hmm.
half those albums I didn't actually listen to in '97. I just heard
Yeah,
them
that was the
later.
cool. Yeah, you said you went back and got into it, and some of
Yeah,
those, yeah, definitely. But like, Pure Phase by Spiritualized is one of. It's like, it is just absolutely a mind blower, man.
yeah.
It is
It's
huge. It's noisy. It's melodic, and then it gets very quiet. It gets very intimate. It's just right in your ear, and then it just blows up into these synthesizer sounds with electric guitar and stuff, and you're just like, wow, good
yeah.
job,
There was
dude.
a lot
Good
of stuff
job.
like that, and I had friends that were really into like Moby, and
I love that one record. That one record was good when it came out.
and then like
Spiritualized is different than that, though.
and
Just so you know. Just
everybody
saying.
and everybody fucking had that DJ Shadow
DJ
album.
Shadow, right. Yeah, I did too.
And
96.
but like
Whoa.
if I remember right, DJ Shadow was hip hop adjacent,
Yes, he
and
was
I
hip hop
was still
adjacent.
just wanting to listen to hip hop. So I'm just like, why is there no rapping?
Sure. Oh, yeah, no,
Where's
right,
the
right. But
rapping?
right, but its big claim to fame was that the entire album was made of samples, correct? There
Yeah,
was not
yeah.
one single thing on there that was
What
played.
was that one band? There was one band that put out an entire album that was put together with samples, and people. And I had friends that were like so into this, and I don't even remember what it was called now. I don't remember. Anyway,
Okay.
but like the we were talking about like Dust Brothers, who
Yeah.
produce like
Fight Club.
so if you talk like Paul's Boutique. Like Paul's Boutique is completely put together with samples, and I love the way that it sounds. But guess what? The reason why I really love it is because of the fucking Beastie Boys.
Oh, no, totally.
So
Now,
it's
okay,
like,
so the Dust Brothers produced that record?
y-
Is that the same guys who did the Fight Club soundtrack? Which is great, by the
they
way.
also did Odelay by Beck, and a bunch
Okay.
of other stuff. Dust, yeah, I think it's what they were called, the Dust Brothers.
Well,
Yeah,
I said the Chemical Brothers earlier because the Chemical Brothers, I
Chemical
also
Brothers is not them.
yeah, no, I
Yeah,
think I had mentioned the Chemical Brothers earlier.
yeah.
That they are another one of these groups that just absolutely blew me away. I was super into that group.
Yeah, that
Super.
a lot of that stuff just has to do with like if you and me were hanging out and you played me songs from those things, I'd probably be like, "This is cool," but I would
Oh,
never
sure, totally.
I would never like just go listen to it because
Right, right,
it's not like it doesn't move me or whatever. It doesn't
right.
whatever for
Yeah,
whatever reason. But
yeah.
yeah, but some of that stuff
And then
did. I saw Moby live actually,
okay. He
and
got a lot he got so popular he got a lot of backlash, which
yeah,
was unfortunate,
I
but
was surprised though how entertaining his show was, and he did a guitar solo in it as well, which I thought
oh, I
was kind
bet.
of cool because I learned very quickly that a lot of these people that were like fuck heavy metal, they all were in heavy metal bands when they were younger.
Oh, yeah, of course they were. Of course they were.
So
Because
I'm
you had
like,
to be. Yeah, no, totally.
yeah. So
Yeah.
what's
And
that?
then
What's that? LCD Sound System.
oh yeah, yeah,
That's another one
yeah,
that I've heard
yeah,
some stuff by them, and I go, oh, "This is
yeah,
cool," but like I
yeah,
can't.
totally.
A whole album isn't going to hold my attention. So
Well, yeah, I was playing with some guys here in Chicago, and the main songwriter, I just was like, "Hey, yeah, no, I'll play bass in your band just to show up and have something to do once a week." You know what I mean?
mhm.
Just to, and we were learning some really cool tunes, and I really liked him. And then I found out from the drummer that he was like really into that band, and so he would play me that band back and forth to practice. And I got into it, but I mean, I never went out and. I mean, there's just a period of time. I think what, when when Stick was on tour, like I never picked the music in the van. You know what I mean? There was just shit going on. You would go in the club and their club sound system would have something on. You get into the band that you play, you get
Yeah.
back in the van, somebody else puts a tape or a CD in. Like it just got I just quit I quit finding it. I just tried to enjoy what was happening or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then when I got to Chicago and at Tower, that was when I exploded back into trying to and again, I was really relying on like these fucking cool people that worked there that really knew
Hmm.
stuff. And they were just, it was, like it's like the food, the just moving from a small town to a city is just, I mean, it's not an experience that's unfamiliar. It is told, that story is told again and again and again
Yeah.
and again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it totally blows your head, opens all your doors, just lets it, but when I started working at the candle store, I was a candle maker for years. Like the kids would come in, and I say kids because I was in my 30s at that point, and they were
Yeah.
like in their 20s or whatever. We had a great sound system, and they would bring in music, and I just started listening to whatever they were bringing in. You know what I mean? Like that whole Elephant Six thing got really big, the neutral milk hotels and all that stuff.
Hmm.
And so I was like, okay, that stuff's awesome. But I didn't buy records anymore.
Yeah.
And then people would buy them and bring them to the store, or like again, this was really weird. We ended up being a tastemaker because we were a local owned business that like cool people came to buy our candles and all this kind of stuff because we made them. You know what I mean? It was like this rad job, man. And so people
Did you
would come
make
and bring
scented
us.
candles?
Oh, for sure. Why
Oh,
is this going
nice.
to be a joke?
No, I was just curious about
Okay.
about candle
I thought
making in
you.
general.
Oh man, dude, that was I would still be doing it, I think, if things had been different. Like it was that was a great job. It was like
Yeah.
baking. You got up really early in the morning, got your coffee, cranked the stereo, poured hundreds of candles on all these tables, you know what I mean? Filled up all these molds,
Yeah.
tended to them throughout the day, filled them up, and by the end of the day, you were pulling them out. You know what I mean? Setting up the table for the next morning. It was like working at a bakery.
Yeah.
And I've never done that before, but I imagine like getting to a kitchen, prepping your ingredients,
Yeah.
getting them mixed, get them in the oven, get them out. That's a very cool feeling.
Yeah.
I guess that's why it's the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker, right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess that's
That
a
would make
thing, right?
sense. Yeah.
So yeah,
You were the candlestick maker.
I was the candlestick, and I worked at a cookie company once,
Oh shit, you had me
so I was
there.
baking cookies.
Oh man, that's like my weakness is cookies.
I was at the mall. I worked at the Great American Chocolate Chip Cookie Company.
Oh my god, they made the big pizza cookie things. God, I love that place.
And those fucking sandwiches with the cream frosting in the middle, that was so good, man.
Oh
And we
god.
worked at Quail Springs Mall. And so Quail Springs Mall, it was in Oklahoma City. And it was really funny because you had to do fucking, the service industry is amazing. I miss it. I mean, it was like you were really pumping through a lot of long hours doing a lot of stuff you didn't want to do, but whatever. It
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
like you really loved your time off. You know what I mean? Like you were young and you got your time off and you went to town. But when that phone would ring, it was so hilarious. Uh, Great American Chocolate Chip Cookie Company, Quail Springs Mall. This is Mark. Can I help you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like everything. Street Side Records, Lawrence. Can I help you? You know what I mean? Just like
Yep.
Best Buy had to have had a training. You had
Well,
to have gone through training to work at Best Buy, right?
well, we did. Well, not really.
Oh, you didn't?
No, honestly,
Okay.
my getting hired on at Best Buy was so interesting because I had two friends that already worked in the music department,
Oh,
and they
right.
recommended me. So I went in for an interview, and
Mm-hmm.
then I got hired, and I was told, "Well, you're going to start this day at this time."
Okay.
And I came in, first job I'd ever had, so I don't know how it works. So I walk into the door, and I have my Best Buy outfit on,
Sure, sure.
and I can't find anybody. So I just start going and organizing CDs. I'm just like, like
Really?
one of the big things about like this the record stores, this is it when people
Yeah.
leave shit folded forward and you push it back.
Yep.
I was
Push it
doing a
back.
lot of that, and I was just like trying to clean up, and then eventually, like I saw some guy, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm supposed to start today," I was like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh, I'm your manager." I'm like, "Oh, cool." And then
Cool.
all of a sudden, he was like, "Here's a box of stuff. Go
Right,
alphabetize it." Like
right,
it
right.
was literally just like that. There was no training. And
Sure.
even
Okay.
on the when we had phones, which there was only one phone in the department, and somebody had it on their belt, but you had to go through an automated system. So
Oh,
they
okay.
already knew who they were calling. So we just went
Right.
music, and then
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. Tower was like that. Pop floor.
yeah.
You're on the pop floor. You know what I mean? That's what they called the just the, yeah.
But then
Pop and
eventually,
rock.
the thing that sucked about that, the first like 6 months of that job was fucking amazing because I had two good friends that worked there. Music was like in '96, music was still so fucking booming and
Oh yeah.
important, and
Right.
and that was the focal point of Best Buy. You walked in the front door, there were
Yep. The
cashiers,
front door
and then a
is right there. Giant
gigantic,
CD.
yeah.
Yep.
And then as time went on, all of a sudden,
Went to the back.
well, in the few years that I was there, because I was only there
Uh-huh.
like 2.5 years, I think. And so
Right.
eventually we also did like the VHS. We do in that section
Oh,
too.
sure. Yep.
But then they were like, well, we want you guys to also be over the computer software. And I didn't know, I knew fuck all about computer software.
Okay.
But they ended up putting it all in the same section where it was all the CDs. Then back here, there was a section
Oh,
no,
right,
it
because
was,
you bought it.
it,
You bought it in a box. It came on a disc. You downloaded it in
yeah.
your
So
computer.
not
Right.
only was
Okay.
it also
Right. Okay.
like movies, but then video games also, and then computer
Sure.
software.
Sure. Sure.
And
Sure.
and then eventually the focus was very quickly shifting to computer software. That's what they're putting in the ads, and that's what we're supposed to know about. And I'm like, this sucks. Like I don't care about any of this
Right.
shit.
Right.
And then my friends quit to get other jobs.
Sure.
And I remember we got a new general manager, and that dude was a complete dick. And literally the tone of the
hate
store
that.
went
Sure.
from fun to just complete shit overnight. And I remember like I got a job at a dry cleaner that was really close to my house. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to go work because I was like, oh, this will be a better job for me because the hours are like middle of the day, and you don't have to do a lot of shit, and then you don't have to deal with all these fucking
Right.
stupid customers. And they're just the ones that come in and you're face to face with somebody. So I thought it was a better deal. But so I put in my 2 weeks notice like you're supposed to, and then I think after like the first week, I'm there at work, and at this point, they've decided that they only need one employee working in that entire section that's supposed to stock all the new stuff, set up end caps, and help with everybody's stupid questions about
Sure.
where everything is. So I was
Right.
overworked and underpaid, and I had that phone on my hip all the fucking time, and it would always
Yep.
be like, "Do you have Windows 95?"
Yes.
Let me go check. And so I just remember there was
Could
a day.
you put it on hold for me?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
I'll
and
be
then,
right down.
because in the ad it's supposed to be $9.99. Can you hold
Right,
it or
right,
whatever?
right,
So
right.
I remember I was on the phone talking to somebody about some software that I knew nothing about, and I'm trying to just
Right.
read the back of the thing. I'm like, yeah, I think that's what you're looking for. We have it here. I'll hold it for you. Okay, blah blah. So I put the phone down, and then the general manager is right behind me, and he's like, "When you're done talking to your friends, can you come do this?" And I'm just like, "I'm sorry, what?"
Did you just
And I and,
right,
and
right.
I and I literally went up to him and I handed him the phone and I went, "Bye." And I walked out and I clocked out and I walked out the front door. And that was how I left that job. Because I was just
Wow.
like, you have me doing all this shit alone, and you
Right,
have the
alone,
fucking nerve
right.
to
True,
tell me I'm
right.
talking to friends on the phone. I'm just
Right.
like, so, but I do have to say, and I know you've been there too, like I do have to say that like everyone needs to have a retail job once.
Oh,
Because I
right.
feel like it makes you a better person. Like once
It
you come
does, man.
out of it, you're
Yeah.
just like, because people are fucking awful.
Yeah, but then some of them are fucking amazing.
So,
And you
some of
actually,
them, but
you know,
but
and you,
somebody like me, I don't remember those people. I just remember the awful people.
well, okay, that's true too. But I mean, well, I feel like I just all the awful people just kind of like there was 100% times when I'm just at that cash register around Christmas time or whatever,
Uh-huh.
just like there's a line out the whatever, and you are just like beep beep that beep sound beep
Oh,
beep. It's
fuck
just
yeah.
like it just like, and you have no desire to be even there. Do you know what I mean? And it is just
I would just go
rolling.
hide in the back stocking area sometimes at Best Buy close to the end because I was
Yeah,
just
because
like,
you didn't have to ring anything up
no, no. I
because
was,
we
I was
worked the
just
floor
in.
and had to get
Yeah, I
get
never got
shifts,
trained
and so
for. I never got trained for cashier. So,
and then you had to count your drawer out and all that other kind of stuff, and it was all a big deal. And if you were off,
oh yeah,
yeah, which
yeah. It
but
was.
anyway,
It
but
was.
I get what you mean.
But like, it sucked because it started off as such a great job,
Right,
and
it is cool. Yeah.
then
And had it would have stayed, music was the main focus, you probably would have been there longer. Like I always wanted to work at a record store. And I mean, luckily,
yeah.
finally Tobin hired me. Mike Tobin hired me. He was my first
Oh
boss at a record store, and that was like fantastic because he was a great manager. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
I kind of
But
felt like it. Go ahead.
no, I was just no. You're finished what you're saying.
Oh, I just felt like he was the kind of dude where it was like, well, if you're in the store and no customer is coming back to talk to me about your attitude and your whatever, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if and so if you're just running around answering questions and being cool, Tobin was it was this it was he was an awesome boss to have, by the way. He was
Which is
really, really great.
honestly the way a boss
Yeah.
should be. Like, are you
Oh,
getting your
so good.
work done and are you
Exactly.
not causing any problems? Great.
Right.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Keep doing what you're doing. Exactly. Exactly. I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah.
Yeah. What I was going to say is that no, I don't remember where I was.
Oh my God, is that your wife on that coffee mug back there? No, who was on that coffee mug
Yeah,
back
that's
there?
my wife.
Oh, nice, dude. That's awesome. That's amazing.
She used to have a fabric company called Good Girl
Oh,
Fabric.
wow. That's
This is my
awesome.
succulent.
Nice. Okay, sorry to derail you. Okay, here we go.
I don't remember where I was going with that. There was something something with Best Buy. I don't know.
Right.
I was gonna say like once because like that was my very first job. So once I got to the point where I was actually looking for like other jobs, I tried to apply at record stores, but in Austin, the record store was like hipster central. Like
Oh, of course.
you would go buy something and somebody at the front would be like looking at you like why are you buying this? This isn't the cool
Right.
thing or whatever.
Right.
And it
Right.
got to the point like some record stores I wouldn't even fucking go to because I was just
No,
like
they were intimidating.
I don't like how you fucking look at me just because I want to buy this album.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I spent money at like mall record stores
Right.
and other stuff like that because like those people didn't give a shit. I'm like, great,
No.
great.
No. Did you have record bars?
Record bars?
Record bar. Record bar. Did you have record bar?
I mean,
Okay.
you went and listened to records at a bar?
No, that was the name of the store. It was called Record Bar.
Oh no,
Like
no,
Dress Barn or whatever.
No,
but
in
it
the
was
mall.
Record Bar.
In the mall, we had
Was Quigley's?
the music
Quigley's
store.
was
The music store in my mall down the street from my house was Hastings.
Hastings. Right on, right
And
on.
then
Yeah,
in
yeah,
other
yeah.
malls, you had like Camelot Music and
Yep, Camelot.
Music Land.
But Camelot also had books too, right? It was Camelot Music and Books, right? That was it.
Hastings had books too.
Okay.
But yeah, my local mall because I essentially lived like I never lived in a small town ever. Like obviously I grew up in Austin, and so like I grew up literally walking distance from a mall, and I would hang out at the mall. I was literally a mall rat at this mall.
Same. Same.
But this mall, like I've been to so many malls throughout the rest of my life, and there has never been any mall that's as perfect as this for a mall rat. Because number one, it was just one floor. It was one floor. But
Okay.
here's where and it wasn't huge, but it had everything you needed. So it had like a food court. It had an arcade. It had a movie theater. It had an ice skating rink.
No.
It did.
No.
It had a record store, a bookstore, for a little while they had one of those cool things where you could go in and record your own song. Like,
Yes. What were those called?
I don't
Glamour Shots was the get
they
your
had
own
that.
headshot one.
They
Yeah,
had
okay.
glamour shop. And obviously they had
Yeah.
like clothing stores and stuff too.
Yep,
But
yep.
there was so much great shit there that the day would be planned with like, okay, well, we're going to get there in the morning. We're going to go to the record stores and stuff. Then we're going to go eat at the food court. And then we're going to go see a movie. And then after the movie, maybe we'll go ice skating. I don't know. It was just like, but it was literally like, it was always, even when it was crowded, it was still a very comfortable mall just to hang out in.
Okay.
And so I look at that as an experience. I'm like, man, I wish I would, I mean, I at this point, I'm too old for that kind of shit. But like for
No, of course.
teenagers, I'm like, it was so perfect. And my favorite thing about the movie theater is that the movie theater was the way it was designed was you walked up and there was a small booth, like it wasn't even closed off. It was just a desk where somebody sat and took your money for the movie. And then there was the concessions. And then you literally went through a doorway that went into two very long dark hallways. And on one side, there was like 2 or 3 screens, and the other side, there was like 5 or 6 screens. Okay. And as you went further down, that's the dirtier the movie theaters became. Because the one on the very end, that's where they played the Rocky Horror Picture Show every weekend. And they didn't clean that shit up very well at all. But my favorite thing was that I would go to a movie, and then when the movie would be over, I would just pop into like another movie because nobody was there.
Right.
Nobody was checking tickets.
Nobody checked.
And so I would get to see like little bits of movies that I couldn't get a ticket for because I'd be like, I remember specifically, I really want to see Pump Up the Volume with Christian Slater. I want to see that movie, but it's R-rated. So I bought, soundtrack's great too, but I bought some other movie. I went to go see the movie, and then after that, I remember like I popped in for like 5 minutes of Pump Up the Volume. I'm like, oh, this looks great. Can't wait to see this movie. And I just missed that. I did that with House Party too. I remember that.
Okay.
Like I so badly wanted to see House Party, and I popped in just to see a little bit of it. And I was like, oh, it's so cool. I just popped in to see House Party for a minute.
I'm the best.
And now House Party is one of my favorite movies. So is Pump Up the Volume, really.
It is a good movie. Did you get to see the makeout scene by any chance when you were in the theater as a kid for just a little while? Yeah, the makeout scene.
You talking about when the girl takes her top off?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that whole scene.
No, I don't think that was on the screen.
No, not at that time. Yeah.
No,
it was a different. Isn't that weird?
Scene.
Being a kid, just being a heterosexual boy attracted to females, just trying to go to any movie at all.
Yeah. Hopefully there'll be boobs.
I know.
That was the aside from MTV, that was the best reason to have cable, is because like
Cinemax.
You'd be looking through like the TV guide or whatever for movies, and you'd be like, this movie is called like Forbidden Bliss. There might be titty in this.
Red Shoe Diary.
That's a real thing, right?
That was a Full Moon Junction or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
And so I sat through all kinds of shit movies just waiting to see some boobs, and then sometimes there would never be any, and that was fucking.
No, I know it was disappointing.
Very rarely were they good movies.
No. Do you remember when the cable stations had the big jagged line down? It was like,
I do. That was.
You could still sometimes see a boob every now and again if you sat there long enough to watch it.
Yeah. I just remember there was that one. You watched that episode where I played my old songs from back in the day, and there was that part where I literally recorded audio from a Skinemax movie. So there would be some moaning in that song that I recorded.
Yeah.
That was me like experimenting. Like, I'm gonna have sound effects, and it's gonna be
nice.
These weird moans in the background.
Right. Well, everybody wanted weird moans in their background.
Speaking of that, I was because you were bringing up my music earlier.
Okay.
I decided, and I have like two. My band in the early 2000s, which was called Gray Line.
Which is the one CD that won't play. I even put it in another player. I can't get it to. Okay.
We did 2 televised performances.
Really?
Yeah, on a cable access show called Raw Time. And so we did one in 2001 and one in 2002, and I have them on VHS. So nice. I ripped those to my computer. And I'm toying with the idea of just putting those out on YouTube and just be like, whatever. They're just out there to watch.
That would be awesome.
Because I was watching them as I was recording them on the computer, and I'm just like, now that I'm so far removed from this is actually kind of good. Because for years I was like, oh my God, this is fucking awful. But now I'm like, some of this is good. Why didn't we get more popular? Some of this is pretty
Right.
good.
No, yeah, dude, your stuff is very quality.
Some of it, yeah.
Yeah.
And the Gray Line, the thing about Gray Line was it was for the most part a collaborative thing with me and my buddy Amato, who kind of brought me into the band, and he already had like a few songs written, and then we started writing. Like I would write songs, we would write songs together. We would do like harmony vocals, and but there's even a few songs that we literally just like pieced together with each other's stuff, like fucking Lennon and McCartney and shit. And we were like super close for a little while. And so like I listened to those songs, I was like, oh man, that was cool. Like we had a really good friendship and we worked well together. But like, the problem with a lot of those bands, especially, around that time, once you got into the 2000s, is like, there was no, like I said, there was no excitement. There was no ball rolling anymore. And so after
Right.
doing it for 2-3 years, Sonny, what is your problem? What do you need? Do you need to go out of the room? Do you need to leave the room?
Oh, now I'm gonna figure out if you have pants on.
I have pants on. I always have pants.
Okay, if you said okay, I always have pants.
Hello.
Oh, Sonny. Hello, buddy.
Give me a second.
on.
I'm going to let him out.
Okay, right on that. Oh, this is that time when old head leaves the room, and then it falls upon me to make sure that you are properly entertained. And okay, he's back.
What happened?
Oh, I just making sure I was properly entertaining your audience while
This fell right off of my
I'm
head.
sorry, what?
And now all the dogs are freaking out. 'Cause,
Right. 2 beers into it, I can't get my headphones back on.
Hey, I'm on
Man.
3. It's number 3.
Oh, okay, you're not a lightweight. You're not
no,
a lightweight.
not at
That's
all.
your third beer. That's your
They're
third beer.
they're tall. They're talls.
No, they're big. They're big beers. I'm sure they're probably more than 3.0, right? 5.0?
I don't fucking know. I can't read. I can't read anything for shit.
Oh, the
These
glasses have not come out yet.
are- Oops, sorry. How do you read what the fucking alcohol content
Yeah, I
is?
don't know. It's probably somewhere next to the label that says pregnant people shouldn't be drinking it.
Let's see.
You don't
Nope.
care anymore, man.
I see how many carbs there are.
Okay, is it?
3.9%.
Oh, that's low.
What's a light beer?
Okay.
I'm already fat as it is. I don't need to like be
No?
adding more fat shit into me. So
Okay. Well, okay. Whatever it takes, man. You know.
anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna put those performances
Gray
up
line.
on YouTube.
Okay.
To just because like I'm like I have them and they're a good quality, and I might as well like put them up because it's just like
Would you put it on this channel or would you just do
yeah.
another thing?
No, I'd put it on here.
Okay.
Because the only other thing I have is like supporting actor, and that's not supporting actor. That's a band I was in.
Right.
So, and I've thought about like putting up all the music that I've done like online, but I'm like, well, how do I do that? Because like once again, this is what I'm talking about with my OCD. I'm like, okay, do I have to create like 5 different Bandcamp pages because I'm not going to put it under supporting actor because that's not what it is. Like so I end up talking myself out of it. Because I'm just like, oh, I don't have the time for doing all that shit.
Well, the cool part about it is that you are able to record, you're able to edit, and you're able to do video work as well. Which
Yeah.
means that you could do something very clever, very simple, and very fast and have it on there. Like I don't know what to do because I don't know how to do video or anything, and I don't know. Do you just put a picture of the cover and then just put the song on there and let it go?
If you want to do it on YouTube, then yeah, sure.
I mean, because I was making all these videos that were taking forever to make and stuff, and then when I've gotten a fight with Google and canceled my YouTube channel, all that stuff. Just I didn't have any place to put it, but I keep thinking, well, I should start again. But then, like, what do you do? Do you go back to the first band you were in, and then you got to put the songs on? Like, can you
That would be fun. Yeah.
rearrange the fucking order? Like they have to be uploaded in a sequence, so they end up being honest. So you have to upload it backwards, right?
If you go if you go to like the video section, they're in upload order, but you can create playlists. So you could have a playlist that's just like
Right.
this band or this band, and and you can order those however you want. So
Okay.
that seems cool. I maybe I will just like start instead of having to fuck with putting things on like Bandcamp or whatever, I'll just put them up on Old Head as like a YouTube video. Like, here's an EP I did back in,
Well, you've already got a built-in audience, which is really, really cool.
Yeah,
And from your, go ahead.
I think most of them don't give a shit about my stuff.
Well, that's not true because they've asked in I've seen at least two comments and on videos that are like, "Hey, man, you should do a cranked and ranked or your own, or you should do a video." And that's why I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
man, I dig your stuff, so I'd like, I need to go in and do a deep dive, whatever, so I can have some very specific questions to ask you, and then
Yeah.
get the order of the thing together." But I mean, this is another thing I was talking about. Like, if we ended up doing this for each other, then do you then actually edit it and add the song and do the thing or do the what? You know what I mean? Like, you know what
Are
I'm
you
saying?
talking about like us? We're talking about it?
Yeah, like if I talk to you about your music and like I don't know, just I've got questions and then you're like, yeah, this happened in this year, this happened in this year, then like you I don't know, crank and rank your own stuff or whatever, whereas like in a chronological order, and then you play a song from each section or each band, or like a greatest hit or a slash and mash or whatever,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
where you're
yeah.
hacking out, you're putting together a greatest hits. I mean, it would be like that's the like I feel like, man, like that's the thing, and I think I've read in your comments too, is like every time you and Eddie or you and Howard are start talking about stuff, it's like, oh, now I gotta go fucking look at that Dark Angel song that you guys are talking about, and then I gotta come back and get to the place where I was in your other video, and it's like it takes forever to watch one of your videos because I'm like, oh man, now I gotta go look at like Bob by NoFX or whatever, and I know because I haven't heard it or whatever, and I want to know what you're talking about because you are always engaged in these conversations in which you are deeply care about this song, and
Yeah.
a lot of it I've never heard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I gotta go. Anyway. So, but I am sad that when you're talking about other people's music that you can't just fucking include it. So it
Oh,
was
I
right
would
there.
love. I'd love to do that.
But then you get a strike, right? Or you
Yeah.
can't.
Well, there's the.
Right.
They're very loud. So I did a series of videos called Old Headbangers Ball, like prior to
Yes.
the radio show.
Yes.
And I played music videos in that. And I found
Yes.
out very quickly that there were two things that were, well, it was already hard enough trying to find the video and actually capture the video to put on my thing. That was a whole process in itself. But
Oh, because that's pirating in essence, right?
kind of, yeah. With sometimes I would have them on a VHS and I would just rip it and put it. Just depends. Like with the Stick music video, I have a VHS, the rock the rock video VHS that it's on. But
Right.
so you put it up and there's two things that will happen. Well, there's three. One, nothing happens. Two, you get, it says that this content is copywritten, but you're allowed to use it. So if your video was going to make any money, now the money is going to go to whoever owns that song. Which in the case of
Okay.
those videos, I didn't mind. I was like, whatever. But then there's another one where literally because it's copywritten by somebody else, they will just block it from going on YouTube, period. And it got really tiring having to weed
have
through
them
that.
take
Is this going to get blocked? Is that going to get blocked? I had to come up with a whole series of things that I would do before I did an episode to make sure shit was not going to get blocked. And then at the end of the day, I make no fucking money from this, and I would like to make some. And so it's like,
Right.
if I'm going to put music up there, I definitely don't get any fucking money, which is like it's, I think it gets aggravating because I look at other YouTubers and I'm like, I put so much effort into my shit. And these people that like do basically nothing have sponsors and have millions of subscribers. And I'm just like, I just want to make a little bit of pocket money. I just want to, I don't want to quit my job, but, but I don't even
Right.
really make that. And so it's like, so it's not worth it eventually because there's so much work in it. And I'm just like, I would like to get some kind of credit for all of the fucking work that I put into everything. And so now it's become, I rarely ever use any music in anything that I do, but it works out because I have that radio station. I get to play everything, but guess what? I pay for that. So,
Right.
So that at least gets that out of my system. So now having the radio station, being able to do
Yeah.
my radio shows every, once a month, once or twice a month, whenever I can do it.
Sure.
That gets that out of my system of me being able to be like, cool, I can talk about music and then play it.
And play it.
And I
right.
love that. That
So
would be
you-
if I could get paid to do that, I would quit doing YouTube altogether. I'd just be like, I just want to be a radio DJ and turn people on to music and play old favorites and all that shit. That's all I want to do. So, because all I want to
you're
do is
good at-
talk about music and play music. That's it. I don't
play
have
it,
to have
right.
my face on it. I don't care.
So when I sent you some video, I think his name was Professor Rock or Dr. Rock or somebody on YouTube
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah, like, and I noticed that he only plays like a couple of seconds of every song. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah.
a chorus or a hit or to let you know what's going on or whatever. He doesn't play the whole song. Is there also a thing where like if you just play a certain amount of the song, you only have to pay so much money as to the whole song, or how does that work?
For some music, it's the same exact thing where some songs playing less than 30 seconds, you're fine. Other songs, you're not fine. So the fact that dude has millions of subscribers or whatever, or hundreds of thousands of subscribers, whatever the number is,
Right.
I guarantee you he has somebody that's editing his videos and uploading them that works around all of that shit. But because he has that kind of reach, he's already going to have sponsorships and other things where he's probably making a living off of doing those videos, even if they get copyright, where the money goes to the copyright holder. So
I've seen him interviewing bands. So I think he's a known entity. He was probably a radio person. Judging by his age, he was probably a radio personality.
Sure.
before, so I don't know, but yeah.
I just know that he wears really annoying hats. That's all I know about him. Every time I see his hats, I'm just like,
I have some of those hats
for
up
real,
there.
dude, for real with them hats.
Well, the balding thing is hard for people. You don't have that problem, Stephen.
But if I do, guess what? Skull it is what I'm going to have. I'm like,
Okay.
I am not good. My hair is going to be long as it can be until it's just gone or I'm dead. So
Okay. Whichever comes first.
we'll
You know what I'm
find out.
saying?
That was you were
Okay.
that was a yawn, dude.
That one was a yawn. You accused me of one before, and I wasn't one, but that one was. I'm sorry about that because I got up so early because I had to paint this sign.
It looks great too. Like
it had-
I almost feel like I want you to take a picture of that for me on like independently and then send it to me and then maybe I can make that the border.
Well, that is your font.
Okay. I need to figure out. So would you? Yeah, I'm gonna do it to where it says it on the top. Maybe not on this episode because it already says behind you,
Sure.
and that's
sure.
like saying
Bit twice.
the
Pizza.
Black Sabbath from the album Black Sabbath by the band Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath. Right. Yeah, that is a lot of that. Yeah, it's a lot of that. I just wanted to make sure that people knew that your audience knew that Old Head Broadcasting that they were committed to the show long enough to know that we got an official banner.
It looks great too. What did you
Yeah.
make that out of?
Well, so I've been folding all those things around everything I send you. Stephen Ivy's personal copy of this and that and the
Yeah,
other. It's
yeah.
all in this. It's all in this cardboard stuff because it's the tail ends of all the album covers that I clip off, and I have a pile of these things in different shapes and sizes, and so these are all tail ends. These are all on separate. They're all on tail ends of when
How
I
did-
cut those.
How
Go ahead.
did you get the font?
I just looked at it and then drew it.
Oh my God, for real?
Yeah, I just looked at it. I drew it because it's very there's it's got stuff that's noticeable.
Yeah.
What's interesting, I like that that for some reason this M doesn't have a tail on it, but the others did, and then it goes like this, and so I just got a pencil
What's-
and then a marker.
I'm all like, what's the name of that font?
I don't know what is the name
It's
of that
through
font.
it's through Photoshop. So
So you can know how to do all sorts of stuff, don't you? You can even
I do know how to
Photoshop
do,
shit, can't you?
but like I'm
'Cause your
very
thumbnails are awesome.
I'm limited because now I've been fucking around with AI as well to try to make cool shit. And try to
Okay.
combine the two, where it's like a little bit
Okay.
for real, a little bit AI, a little
Okay.
bit Photoshop.
Yeah, like how'd
But
you do that psychedelic vinyl introduction video
yeah,
with
that's
that?
AI. I literally uploaded a still of myself from the video, and
Uh-huh.
I said, I just literally just said, make this look like pop art, and it like made it look like pop art.
Okay. That's just free?
Yeah, Chat GPT.
Okay, I've never done
The
that.
way I mean, I think we do pay for it because my wife uses it a lot too, and so we pay to have like unlimited asking it to do shit. But
It's a subscription
you can do a
model.
free version though, and then you can do pictures and stuff for a little bit, and then it'll say you need to wait till tomorrow, motherfucker. You've done too much. But literally, ChatGPT is where we go for everything now, because it is able to quickly search every fucking corner of the internet. So if you want the answer to a question, you just ask ChatGPT, and it immediately can find, well, maybe there's 500 sites and like 4 of them are bullshit, but it can quickly figure out that, well, obviously those are bullshit because all these other ones say this thing. Boom, here's your answer. And like within seconds. Like it's amazing. Technology.
Okay, so listen, man, I must be one of these people that annoys you. Like when you hold up a record, I would be that guy that was like, "What's it sound like?" Because I would want you to tell me. Because for some reason, I don't know that I can just type that into Chat GPT and get a thing. Because I don't think about the internet as a thing.
Well, I mean, these days it's not just that. It's like also like just YouTube. Like if you want to know what an album sounds like, just search the band name and the album title, and I guarantee you it's right there
Yeah,
to listen to.
right,
You don't even
right.
need a streaming service. You can at least listen to a song usually. So,
Sure, sure.
but I mean, once again, like I don't love creating things with AI. There's something about it that isn't exactly what I would want. In a perfect world, I would I would make a lot of good money and I would hire artists because then I could say,
Right.
"Hey, Mr. Artist, here's what I want. Let me fully explain it to you, and then we'll have a
Right.
conversation so you can
Right.
understand exactly what I
Yep,
want."
yep, yep.
But
yep.
For somebody who doesn't make any money, AI is very helpful for creating just random shit, that you can use. And
Well, that was an impressive thumbnail, but nothing beats your birthday special.
oh, man,
That one was really nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that one was really
it
nice.
was great. Guy,
Yeah.
so much has happened since my birthday. Like
I know it's been a lot.
I feel like I just think about it like, oh yeah, I had a birthday. That was a couple months ago. And now like I'm in this totally different house, and like
Yeah, man.
I feel like life is like totally different now.
Yeah.
But here I am, still doing old head and someone's boner all the time.
Man, I just really want to figure out what the evolution was between someone's boner and someone's bottom. I think it started out as someone's bottom, and then it ended up being someone's boner, and I'm just fascinated with language
because
and how it
bonum,
works.
bonum,
Bonum, sure,
summon
boner.
bonum,
Someone's bottom.
someone's boner.
Someone's boner.
It just makes
It's a great.
it makes sense.
Okay. Well,
Honestly,
and
honestly, there's summon Bonum, and it's like John Bonham. it
sure.
could be a little
I
bit
thought
that.
about that. Is that where he got that name?
No,
And
that's
there's
that's his
Bono.
actual last name.
Nah, he came up with that. His real name was
Because
like.
his son's name is Jason Bonham. But
Well,
so-
of course, his son's name is Jason Bonham because, of course, his name is John Bonham. His real name is
Wolfgang
probably like.
Van Halen's last name is actually Van Halen.
Well, but was Eddie Van Halen's real name Van Halen?
Yeah.
Did he come from a long line of Van Halens?
Well,
or does that
he's
start
not
with him?
he's not American. Like he's what is his and his
Don't even know.
he's not American.
He's
He-
Scandinavian of some kind, correct?
something like that. Yeah. You say Scandinavian, that sounds like it could be any number of things. But
Yes, that's why I use it. It was a broad term.
anyway,
He's Dutch.
did you just look that up?
No, I didn't look up anything. I don't know. Okay.
He's Dutch.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Okay. Okay, anyway.
I feel like we're wrapping things up. Are we wrapping things
Yes.
up? Because
Well, we could. I know
you-
I yawned, and I'm sorry. I'm so old.
but
This
you
is
also,
so-
but also, like you yawned, and like I remember the very last episode. I think it was the last episode where you were like, "Dude,
No, you-
I gotta pee," and I'm all like, "Now that you mention it, the beer's
Oh, yeah.
going
No.
right through me."
So what I did was I made sure that you said that's why it took me so long to get on because you were like link is sent, and I'm like, and I went in and peed
Yeah.
so that I would get it out right there.
We still, you know
I could
what?
hold out longer.
You did good. We still hit 2.5 hours with this motherfucker.
Yeah.
And we
well,
don't have to wait as long for the next one.
No, we don't. And thank you. This is great. So that means Old Head Broadcasting Network still wants the show to happen.
Yes. Yes. It's been continued for another season.
Oh, okay. Nice, man. That's
No,
awesome.
but before we finish though,
Okay.
I like the idea. I just like, obviously I feel like because the vibe of the shit that I do and the vibe of us talking, it's going to veer off into all kinds of different areas no matter what. Anyway,
Sure.
like if we want to come up with some themes,
Yeah.
and I like the idea of like if you want to, because you remember I did that the Cranked and Ranked episode where I played my old music for Eddie while he was listening.
Sure.
And I was like, I can do that. Like I can rip some stuff to my computer, and maybe you can figure out how to do it as well, and we can. By the way, that fucking 7-inch you sent me is fucking fantastic. That look, I know
thank
you were.
you.
I know you were just a teenager in that.
Right.
Right. You were like a teenager.
Yeah. 16, 17. Yeah.
But like that era of that music, the hardcore punk era, like that shit sounding like that, not just the energy of the music and the songwriting, but the production is never going to happen again. So you hear it and you're just like, this is a fucking window of aggression and I don't know, just energy and emotion.
Yeah.
You hear a lot of bands. There's a lot of bands that did similar music. There was a lot of hardcore bands, but the fact that like the songs on that are actually really good for like, and it's just like, I that made me feel like I was already like a fan of yours through this stuff that you've done, but now I'm all like, you did this too? Like that's not fair.
Yeah, dude, you said that gave me street cred. Oh, it is fair. It's totally fair.
Because I didn't do
okay.
anything. Like, I mean, I know you've said you like my stuff, but like,
I do like your stuff.
but like the combination of you being an important band to me from the MTV era, and then you were in this fucking 80s hardcore band that put out this urgent little blast of energy. It's just so great. It's so great.
It is awesome. Dude, that guy who played guitar in that band, Richard, is the dude who plays guitar in La Cassette.
Oh.
So that's that other band that I sent you for. And I don't know I didn't know if you listened to that 916 We Will Never Forget. I don't know if you
I
listened to
did.
that.
I have to admit, I did not like it as much as the first one.
Sure. It's not as immediate, but
It
there's some
also
good stuff.
it wasn't as groovy.
Right.
Like, I remember I told you that first one reminded me of like Beastie Boys.
Beastie
like
Boys. Yes.
This one didn't.
Yeah.
It had less of a cool vibe. It was a little more.
It's a little more polished.
Yeah,
I think
it
or
wasn't.
whatever.
It wasn't bad. It just it didn't like grasp me the same way that the first one did. But like, not everything that you do can be amazing. Come on, dude. You've already you've done enough.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
But
yeah. Anyway, so that's that dude. Richard and I have been friends since high school, obviously, and it was really a joy to be in another group with him later on, and more adult oriented stuff, I guess, so to speak. But it was a good time. So, dude, man, I was like, like when you said you weren't friends with, and I'm sorry, we were wrapping up. So, like when you said once, I think you mentioned that you really were not friends with anyone that you were in bands with anymore, and that kind of made me sad.
Yeah.
Because I was like what? I mean, like when you explained that first, when you, oh my God, the big boy poster, more. I realized that you guys got together to be a band. You weren't like buds just hanging out.
I was friends with the guy that played drums before that.
And you're not friends with him anymore?
We're Facebook friends.
Okay. Right.
Funny enough, he does electronic music now. He does like trance type stuff now.
Oh, awesome.
I mean, and it's actually, it's not stuff that like I'd love to listen to, but like I hear it and I go, God, this is really well done. So,
yeah, I know, right? Don't you love it when you know people who do really? Yeah.
But he's awesome. but he was also an amazing guitar player, and so every time I hear it, I go, come on, dude, can you write a fucking riff again?
Oh, okay. Okay.
But yeah, so like I have to admit though that all the bands that I've been in, me not being friends with the people in the bands anymore is sometimes about 30% of the time is because of them. 70% of the time is because of me, because I am introverted. I have, anxiety and all these issues, and I'm not good at being social. So like,
Okay.
especially now, like once I met my wife, like, what do I want to do? I just want to hang out with my wife and my kid and my dogs, and I want to listen to music.
Sure.
I don't want to
Sure.
go out and
Sure.
and talk to people. And so, I like talking to you, but
Thank you.
if all of a sudden there were like 3 other people that were like, "Hey, you want to go out and talk?" and be like, "No, I talked to Mark. That's it." It's like, it's like I'm good. I talked to Mark. It's fine.
Right.
But
Right.
but sometimes the people I was in bands with were shitty. I was in bands with a few people
okay.
that literally just were hard to work with, or rubbed me the wrong way, or eventually became people that I didn't like. But
Right.
usually it was just that our lives moved apart, and part of that was me withdrawing. I would just withdraw. So it's
Okay.
like, even there was a drummer that I was in like 3 bands with, and we would sometimes even go to shows together and hang out together. But then just one day, when I quit my last band, he was the drummer in my last band I was in. I quit that band and I just withdrew from everybody. I just went, you know what? Because in the new age way to think about things, it's like you're supposed to recognize your mental issues. And so I've started doing that. And I said, you know what makes me feel good? Being away from everything. And so I just pulled myself away from everything, and I got better. Because I'm all like, you know what? There's nobody can come to me and say, you need to be around people. You need to be social. And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm not the same person that everybody else is. And for me, for my mental well-being and for my longevity of my life and my happiness, I need to be with a small group of individuals, and that's it. Like,
Okay.
I don't want to have a shitload of friends, even though I do like a lot of people. There's a lot of people that I'm just like, if I went to go have a beer with that person, I'd probably have a great time. But then I probably wouldn't want to go have a beer with them again for 3 years, and they would get mad at me. So I'm not a good friend in that respect.
Right.
So with band members, it was the same thing, where it's like, for the most part, I feel like it was my fault, where I just went, oh, we're not in this band anymore because this band fell apart for whatever reason. Sometimes because of the people. I only actually quit 2 bands.
Okay.
All the other bands I've been in fell apart because of other people not
Sure.
wanting to do it, or quitting the band, and then I just didn't do anything. Yeah. So it's just they weren't, most of the time they weren't friendships in that same way.
Sure.
We were friends because of the band.
Yep. And that
um,
puts a lot of unity on stuff when you're playing together. It puts a lot of unity.
But there was a lot of pressure on me, because I maybe I put it on myself as well, but I wrote a lot of stuff. Like, out of all the bands I was in, I would say the music that I played in bands, 90% of it was written by me. In all of the bands I was in. Maybe 85, but still a high amount.
A high amount, over 50.
Yeah. And so there was that pressure involved as well. And so it was just really tough. Being in bands was tough, because like there's nothing worse than like pouring yourself into something and then you don't get anywhere. Like, every show, it's like, it's different if you play a show and you play a show to nobody. Next show, you play a show to 5 people. Next one, 10.
Oh,
next one,
100%.
20. But we were literally playing like to nobody. This show, 5 people came. Next show, only the bartenders were there. Show after
I get
that,
it.
still nobody. So it was just like, and so it just got to the point where I'm like, I'm putting so much effort into this.
Right.
I don't know where I feel like I'm veering away from what you were asking. But,
We were just talking about your friendships with like that. I feel like
the guy that played drums and more, I was in a band with him as a guitar player after that. So he and I musically played together for a couple more years after that. even though we weren't friends for a bit because of the breakup of the band. But so he was a legit friend, and so yeah. So there's a few people from my bands that I still try to keep up with. Like I'll go check their Facebook page and be like, what are they up to? That's why social media is important to me, because I'm antisocial. And sometimes
Anti-social media.
sometimes I just want to be able to go and see like, hey, what are you up to now? And I want to be able to go and look and go, oh, cool. I'm really happy that you had a kid and you moved into a new house and you're doing really well. All right. I don't have to bother you. And I know what's up with you. Bye. Like that's what I want. So anyway, let's wrap it up.
Okay, man. Well, so the people just checked in on you, and now they get to say goodbye. Or leave a comment, like and subscribe. Smash that like button.
You need your own YouTube channel. Honestly, what I want you, I more than anything, I want you to have an Instagram page.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
Oh, shut up!
What is
ask your partner.
It's a photograph thing, right? It's for photos.
Well, just videos too, but it's just
Okay.
it's so there. But for two reasons, like.
Okay.
I post a whole lot of like music I'm listening to and stuff.
Okay.
And guess what? You know what Instagram does now that's really cool?
What does it do?
I'll post a picture of the record I'm listening to, and it allows me to add a snippet of the song. So you literally can scroll through and just listen to what I'm listening to a little bit. And then the second thing is that I just want to see your face sometimes when we don't do someone's boner. And so if you just take random selfies of yourself and you're just like, Mark Smirl, what's up? And then like I'll just every once in a while I get a little picture. You can just have your girl take them for you. Like, here's a good one.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have her take a picture of me about every 3 days. I'll just text it to you.
No. I want you to see what I'm doing online.
Oh, okay. Well,
I want you to like. I want like us to have a musical conversation outside of talking.
Okay, so me watching your videos on this thing and then talking to you.
You would post things too. Like if you decided to listen to something, you'd be like, "I'm listening to this," and I'm like, "Oh, cool."
Or
It's
not.
just-
Or you'd be like, "I hate Blur."
Or even better, take cool pictures of like houses that you're cleaning and you're going through their weird shit.
Ooh.
That would be.
I try not to do that because I really want to keep things private for people. You know what I mean?
Oh well, shit. Well then, I don't know.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's just,
I know what you're saying. Okay.
Hey,
Anyway,
you know what? Before we go, I just want to say one last thing. I bought this record, Return of the Super Ape, Lee Scratch Perry.
okay.
Do you like any dub reggae at all?
Yeah. Here's the weird thing. I don't like Bob Marley.
You don't like Bob Marley?
Yeah, it's kind of lame. It's not. It's a lot of his stuff
Really?
seems kind of lame.
Like Greatest Hits
He
Volumes
seemed
1
like
and
a
2.
cool dude though. But like sometimes I'll hear the stuff that's a little more bouncy, like the bouncy stuff that I guess would be proto ska or whatever. But
Sure.
it's not ska because it's not fast. It's slower. But like
Right.
sometimes I'll hear that stuff and I'll be like, I could fucking vibe to this shit for a while.
Oh, for sure. But this is dub stuff, and gets very weird, and it
A
gets
lot of
very
echo
awesome.
on it, a lot of reverb.
Oh my God. Sometimes it's just barely hung together as a thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, dude. Did you ever get into PIL?
Yeah. I liked some the first few albums. Well, no, they also had that one like hit in the 90s.
Yes, May the Road Rise with You. Rise
Yeah.
with You.
Yeah. I could be wrong, I could be right.
Right.
Yeah.
I could be black, I could be white. Right, yeah. He's a trumper now.
Gee, stop. I don't want to know that.
Isn't that weird?
I don't
That's
want to
weird,
know
isn't
that.
it? It's super weird.
Yeah.
I think that's weird. I guess that's the most
Is
punk
that
rock
Lee
thing to
Scratch
do.
Perry album good? Because I love that album
Oh,
cover.
dude, that album. I know I bought it because of that, and I am not disappointed.
What year is that from?
Oh man, I don't even know. Okay, here, watch this.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I don't even have another pair of glasses to put on to figure out what year this record was from. But it is fucking great. I plowed into it and really got into it. But I don't know, was it going to be on?
Well, what is it called?
Return of the Super Ape.
Return of the Super Ape.
Man, this says
That
20.
album is as old as me, 1978.
Yes, I was going to say it has a very, very, it has the sound. It is doing the thing.
Yeah, see,
You
it
know what I mean? It is,
immediately takes me to the wiki, and I get to read facts about it. Like, Return
oh,
of the Super Ape is a reggae
mhm.
studio album produced by Lee Scratch Perry, credited to the
Yeah,
Upsetters. The album was originally released in Jamaica in 1978 and was the last album by the Upsetters to be released before Perry closed down his Black Ark studio.
yeah. Okay. Well, it's doing some stuff, man. There's a record store in Evanston that's very close to Jessica's parents' house. It's called Squeezebox. I should
And
just
that,
go ahead and
I'm
do a
sorry, I'm
little.
just looking at that, and Squeezebox is a record store.
Yeah, yeah, it's a record store, bookstore, really great. And the people who curate it and the stuff that they put in there, it's very awesome. And I can guaranteed walk in there and find something on the wall or find, like, an end cap or something going on. In fact, that's where I
Yeah.
bought that Kiss. That's where I bought that Kiss Alive 2 record.
Oh, okay.
Same place, man. It's guaranteed. It's
According to this, it
guaranteed.
says Return of the Super Ape was 1976, but I don't trust that. Anyway,
Well, you know what it says on the back here? It says 78, something 78. It says
yeah,
Robbins on
yeah.
78 by Lloyd Robinson 78.
I'm gonna just because of the album cover alone, and I feel like I might dig that. I'm gonna listen to that.
Dude, it is like it like when you put it on and like look, I've said before I think that maybe I might be anxious because I spend a lot of time at home and I'm not super super social. I mean,
Yeah,
I am social. I am social. But I mean, I can easily stay home and just, do some stuff around the house or whatever. But when I put that record on, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna clean everything.
I'm gonna yeah,
And
I'm gonna
I
check
and I
that.
did it. I did it with complete joy, mom. You
This
know
is
what I mean?
this is not
Yeah.
really it's not reggae, but for some reason it just reminded me of like a an out of my comfort zone artist that I
Yes.
really want to listen to more of is Zap, like the it's like R&B music, but they first started using that mouth keyboard thing.
Yeah, okay.
Is it
Yeah, yeah.
Zap Band or
Okay. Two
Zap and
P's, by the
Roger,
way.
something like that? I don't know.
Was it two P's, by the way?
Maybe.
Okay.
Zap
Right on.
Zap and Roger. Zap was the band. Yeah, Zap.
Yeah.
Yeah, but literally they did all that music that like Dr. Dre would end up sampling and shit,
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
like, I want to hear the original fucking songs, man.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So
Totally.
Zap is
Totally.
is a group that I'm like eventually I think I'm gonna like start getting into that kind of shit too.
Oh my God, right? And that's 70s as well, correct?
70s and 80s, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Right on.
think they're big influential shit. It's all 70s. Anyway, all right,
Yeah.
now I really
Okay.
gotta pee.
Okay, goodbye. Love you. Thank you. Thank you everyone for sitting through this. Thank you for letting me be here.
Thank you for letting me do this. Like this is amazing.
Okay.
All right,
Awesome.
hold on.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn it off, and
Okay.
then then we'll say a real goodbye that they don't get to see.
Secret.
It's a
Okay.
secret. Okay. Bye, everyone.